So I spent my first 31 days of the year fasting. Towards the end, God was like, Brittany's your wife. I said, I know you lying.
Was you in a relationship still?
I was. He called back a couple days later and he was like, I don't think you understand. God told me that you're my wife. I mean, it pissed me off so bad. So we're on the phone now, right? I had called my mom and I was like, girl, can you believe he just called me talking about some God told me? I was like, he needs to stop this mess. And I'm sick of him. I ain't got time to be playing with him. Like, I'm just going in, okay?
What's going on?
Going in.
Just disobedient.
And I
Just defiant.
Yeah, and I hear the phone starts to sound different. And I'm like, Mama, what's wrong with your phone? This phone done FaceTime Kevin.
FaceTime me.
I don't even know if I was embarrassed because he heard me talking trash about him or if I was embarrassed because I looked a mess with my bonnet on.
And when you walked away from that conversation, what did you think?
I thought, okay, I think he's serious. In the conversation, he was like, well, you know, the next time I'm in Atlanta, can I stop by and see you? And I said, well, yeah, sure. Well, when are you going to be in Atlanta? And he was like, on Saturday. And I'm like, it's like Wednesday. He's like, yeah, that's going to be the next time I'm in Atlanta. And I was like, well, what are you coming for? And he was like, to see you. And I was like, oh, my Lord.
Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Our homies, the McIntyres.
Hey, y'all.
What's going on?
I told my mom when I got back home from the first day, I was like, this is my husband. Because he was everything I had prayed for. And I was very specific. At that time, I was not mature enough to, I'm going to just keep it 100.
Please.
Go ahead.
That's what we're here
I
for.
don't really do well when I'm not a priority. That don't work for me.
In the entirety of the first dating experience, I feel like she was so focused on getting to marriage and not growing in relationship.
I woke up one morning when God was like, break up with him.
A lot of women say, I want a man to fight for me. And sometimes you can fight for somebody to the point of toxicity to where now you're harming yourself. What could you have done from your standpoint that would have caused you or the fight to last a little longer? What started as a search for understanding became a journey of transformation. Every letter that I wrote led me to this day, the day I got married. November the 22nd, 2025. Dear my forever.
Forever is a long time. That's how long I'll love you. Those lyrics echo through every fiber of my soul at the very thought of you.
This journey has culminated with you as both the award and the reward of my pursuit of love. You are the award, the honor God placed before me, the recognition of growth, healing, and becoming the man I needed to be.
And you are the reward, the blessing given after endurance, the gift promised to those who refuse to faint.
This isn't just our story. This is for all of us. I'm Laterras R. Whitfield.
And I'm Ashley R. Whitfield.
Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Laterras R. Whitfield.
And I'm Ashley R. Whitfield.
Listen, are you still shacking up with us? Okay, if you're still shacking up with us, we're in season 11. Come on, what are you doing? I need you to hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes. Let me tell you something. It's so important for you to subscribe because it shows potential sponsors and advertisers the amount of people that are truly rocking with us. And a lot of y'all hit me up and say, how did I miss that live? It's because you weren't subscribed. And make sure you turn that notification bell as well so that anytime we go live on Wednesdays at 9 a.m., you get notified. Well, today's episode is gonna be great. I've gotten countless of people DMing me saying, you gotta have this couple on the podcast. And well, actually I didn't say couple, they said the woman because they don't even get to see her husband. And so he is here, he's not AI. So we're proud of that. So without further ado, welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast, our homies, the McIntyres.
Hey, y'all.
What's going on? Kevin, so you real, huh?
I'm here.
So Kevin, why is it that you don't even have an Instagram or any social media account?
I don't.
Do you have a LinkedIn?
I got a LinkedIn.
See, I knew it.
I got a LinkedIn.
You one of them.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
I'm gonna have a social media account for my money.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna have one for your personal life. Why is that?
It's just not something that I've always wanted to do. I've been private naturally. And I was telling my wife earlier, I don't have much to post, I don't think. So what I do is I golf, I meal prep, and I work out. And every time I had one several years ago, it was oh, he's working out. He's got a meal prep. Now he's going golf. And people could guess what I was doing. And I was like, yep, I don't really need to do this. So I've always just been one that was low key behind the scenes. And so just never really got into the social media thing.
But, and we'll talk about this later, but you were involved with a lot of stuff as far as ministry related involved. You kept yourself busy during your single season, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, but you didn't feel the need to keep a social media account for personal reasons because you like to be private. What did that feel like now dating someone who, I ain't gonna say dating, I'm gonna say after y'all got married, been married to someone that shares y'all's journey publicly?
It was tough. It was tough. But it was an adjustment I knew I had to make.
Wow.
When we first dated, she talked about how she wanted to be helping women, serving women, and our marriage be a ministry. And so I knew going into it, I had to have that mindset. I knew marrying her meant I'm going to be on social media. I didn't know how much it involved. I didn't know that every time I put something together, every time I'm, working around the house or building something, it's going on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, it's now to where I went to a golf tournament probably a couple months back. Like, oh, you're Kevin, right? I'm like, how do you know me? I saw your wife's social media. You're putting up curtains. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess you do know me. But so I guess it was an adjustment, but I knew I had to make it. And it was more so seeing it as our journey, not just my wife wanted to be on social media, but our marriage should be a ministry.
Yes.
And so it's us together doing it. She's just the one that is driving that. And I'm just supporting by whatever I need to do. I was at home, being on podcasts, doing the camera, doing some B-roll, doing 4 or 5 shots. I'm like, you know what? That's just how I can help serve our marriage a little bit.
That's good.
Well, and this is your first podcast, you were
My
saying.
very first podcast.
Wow.
So we got an exclusive. Dear Future Wife,
exclusive, y'all.
He's not AI. He's
Probably gonna be the
real.
last one, too.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
Be the first and last one. Grand opening, grand closing with Kevin McIntyre.
One and done.
And so we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back on how did y'all meet? And I know it's always 2 sides to the story. So I'm gonna ask you, Brittany, to lead. How did you meet old Kevin?
So I'm trying to think. So it was about 2016. And my line sister was like, oh, there's this guy in my church. He's so nice. You have to meet him. He's going to be the godfather of my baby. She was pregnant at the time. Her husband were having a little boy. And so she was like, you have to meet him. He's wonderful. She was like, and I know he likes dark-skinned women. And so she was just like naming all this stuff.
So
what
what city and state is this?
They're in Columbus, Ohio at this point. I'm in Atlanta.
Okay.
So, and I was, like, girl, we don't even live together. But she's like, no, like live in the same place. And she's like, no, well, you guys can call. He's so nice. So she gives, I think she gives him my number. I think he calls.
She sent a picture first of both of them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't even a good picture either, actually. It wasn't, babe, I love you. And the good thing is that you're better in person.
Well, I appreciate that.
It was not it was not the best picture. And I actually remember showing it to my mama, and she was like, he look, that's a nice picture. I was like, Mama, when people do that means it's not good.
Yeah. That's nice.
It really was not a good picture. But I went on, at the time, he had social media. He had 5 pictures up. And so I went and I found one of his little 5 pictures, and it was a much better picture. And so he ended up calling. He ended up calling, and we ended up talking at that point.
Yeah.
I think you were at like a church cookout or something. I don't know. He was at some graduation. It was something like that.
Yeah, speaking of doing too much, literally, I'm at a youth cookout on a Wednesday or whatever, and I'm calling her, trying to talk to her while I'm flipping burgers.
He was on the grill.
I was.
And I remember saying to him when he called, he was like, hey, my line sister Shalana, shout out Shalana. He was like, Shalana gave me your number, and I'm just wanting to reach out. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, I'm trying to get married. So if you're not trying to get married, like, we won't have to talk.
There it is.
And he was like, okay, well,
Let's regroup.
Hello, my name is Kevin.
Exactly.
My name is Kevin. I live in Ohio.
Yes.
Exactly.
What's your favorite color?
Right. So anyway, he was like, well, I'm not like, I don't know if I'm trying to get married like tomorrow, but if I see something good, I'm not going to let it pass me by. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I can work with that.
Because she said, I'm something good. So
hello, you better recognize it when you see it.
I needed time to recognize it. It was there,
Well,
but
that's
first
true.
sentence,
That's true.
And how did that make you feel when she said that, just so kind of, initially and directly?
Yeah, it caught me off guard. I mean, and it wasn't just her saying it. It was a tone in which she said it.
did
It
she
was
say
like, my guy, I'm looking to get married. So you need to figure this out ASAP.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess I got
trying to give you a lot of
2-3
time to
weeks
think about
it didn't seem like I had like a long time. But it did truly set up, okay, this is what she's here for.
Yeah.
So at least I knew going into it, this is the kind of girl I'm dealing with.
But I also want to point it out. Would I do it that way again? Maybe not. But it did set the tone for our relationship. And,
That's good.
and it's going to come back around when we get into it.
Yeah, it's going to come back
set
around.
the
It took a
tone.
while to come back around.
If
We got there. We got there.
Here you sit.
We are here today.
Okay.
And so were you marriage minded during that time?
I was not. I always knew that I wanted to be married, but I was not pressed.
And how old were you at that time? Let's put it in perspective.
Mid-20s.
So mid-20s, and you like, I'm gonna get married one day, but I ain't, you didn't put in your mind, I'm going to be married by 30. I'm gonna be married by 35. You
Correct.
just said, if the good thing comes along,
Right.
then I'll marry it.
Right. And it wasn't like an age thing for me. It was more so when I feel like I'm prepared to be there, when I'm at a good space, which is why I was doing so many things to get myself prepared to be able to be a provider for someone, a priest for someone, protector. That was what I was doing in my mid-20s. So I was not focused on, I need to get married today. It was more so, let me get myself together so that I can present myself the best.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of men say that, a lot of women don't really understand what that truly means. You say, prepare myself. What did it look like to prepare yourself financially? Because some people may say, as long as you have a job, then you can take care of somebody. Then somebody may be like, no, I have to have a job, then an X amount of money savings. Somebody may say, I got to have a house, a job, a house, and some money saved. Like, so what did that look like for you?
Yeah, for me, it wasn't about the number of it, but it was what I was building towards. So I wanted to definitely have investments. I did want to have a savings. I wanted to have a stable job. I wanted to have a house where she could come and live in and be
he had a
prepared for
house
that.
at
So so I think I bought my house at 25, my first house at 25. So I was getting myself prepared to be able to support what would be a family at some point. So it wasn't, I need to have a 6-figure job. I need to have X number, but it's more so, am I stable? Can I take care of myself first? And do I have enough to take care of someone else?
At that time, could you take care of yourself?
I could.
At that time, could you take care of somebody else?
Depends on who it was. Depends on who it was.
Depends on what their requirements
Correct.
was.
Yeah, the requirements. Some lists are a little longer. Yeah. So I wasn't there yet.
Yeah. So, and did you know this when y'all in the earlier part of y'all dating?
Did I know that he was working toward all that?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he had words to articulate to me.
That's a full circle experience.
Yeah, what he just articulated to you all. I definitely knew that he was mature. I mean, my line sisters knew me well enough to know that I didn't play. And I think
Still don't.
And so I was not going to be dating just anybody. So I knew that if she had recommended him, that it must have been that he, was a solid person. I took her at her word for that. Like I said, I don't know if I knew that he was working towards all of those things, but I thought for sure it's worth the conversation.
All right.
Wait, real quick. I want to unpack, why did you say that you wouldn't say it the same way again? Because I know a lot of women who are dating, they're very intentional.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious why you said in hindsight you wouldn't say it that way.
I think I would have said hello first.
I appreciate that.
I would have said hello. And then I maybe would have soft pedaled it a little bit.
Yep.
Maybe gone through kind of the first conversation. Because a couple of things, I do think you can kind of tell what people are after by the conversation.
That part.
You don't exactly have to be like, hey, are you trying to get married? I can just see what you're talking about.
Yes.
And if you ain't talking about nothing, I can go on.
That
so
part.
I think I probably would have done that differently. And I think if I would have broached the subject, I think maybe I'd try to have a softer tone. I think it
good.
probably would have been received a little bit better. Because I think men who are serious don't have a problem with women looking for direction.
That part.
But I think that there is a way that you can articulate it. I think there's a way that you can ask. And I think that there's a way that you can defer that lets people know, hey, I'm willing to follow your lead.
Yeah, because I always say that a woman wants a man to operate in his masculinity, but if you start off leading, you're operating your masculinity.
Absolutely.
Let that man lead. See if he has the abilities to lead.
Yeah.
If you start saying, well, now you need to do this and this, he like, so, okay, you going to
Right,
propose
you
me?
do
Get on
it.
your knees
Have
and
at
propose
it.
me.
Right.
Have at it. Propose.
Right.
Take out the trash while you're at
Right.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
and if you sit back and say, all right, I'm going to let him reveal to me
Yes.
who he is.
Yes.
And then you can make an informed decision. There's nothing wrong with making an informed decision where you say, as you're getting to know him, and you ask questions like, So, like, if you met the right one, how long will it take you to take it off of you?
Yeah.
If you met the right one, how long will it take you to get married? Oh, I mean, it's going to have to be at least about 2-3 years. And if that don't meet your timeline, you tell me you can meet, God can bring the person in your life that you believe is the one, and no matter what, it's going to take you 2 to 3 years to actually do what? Oh, to even propose. Okay. And you looking at your biological clock and said, that don't work for me.
Does not
and
work.
Nothing wrong with him, nothing wrong with you, just not aligned by timeline.
Yeah,
and you make an informed decision to be like, well, you know what? I just, I think I'm looking for something different. What you looking for? Well, I'm looking for someone that can recognize me early on, and I can't give nobody longer than a year. I can't give nobody longer than whatever it is. And he says, all right, well, cool.
You're good. Yeah.
He's like, cool.
Understood.
And you find. And it's like, I love mature conversations like that so that everybody can make an informed decision and go their separate ways, no hard feelings. And so after that initial phone conversation, what happened?
So at that point, probably the conversation went well, and we started talking on the phone more. Now, mind you, we had not seen each other at this point. So we were just talking, just had exchanged pictures. I think we did a couple of FaceTimes maybe.
Yep.
And so then this was in maybe July. So I think we had talked for about a month, maybe. So it was August at this point, and it was like a Tuesday. And he was like, what are you doing on Saturday? And I was like, oh, I don't think I'm doing anything. And he's like, okay. He's like, well, I'm going to come down. I want to see you.
There you
and
go,
I was
Kevin.
like, okay. I was like, well, what you gonna do? Where you gonna stay? He was like, I'm come for the day. I'm flying for the day. And I was like, okay.
Are you gonna fly in the day and leave the same
pause
day?
there. Let's pause there. So it's a Tuesday, which means I didn't have my flight yet. This is from Columbus, Ohio to Georgia.
Dang.
So that would tell you, hey, he's serious.
Yeah.
He's willing to pay some high prices from get there on Saturday, and I'm coming down for just one day. I'm getting on a flight for a date. Continue. Go ahead.
So you gonna fly in and leave the same day?
Yeah, because I was too busy. So I was too busy. We had, on that Friday night, we had an all-nighter at the church. So I stayed up all night on Friday.
Dang.
My flight was at probably 9 o'clock. So I left the church when the last kid left at 7, went to the airport, I showered and stuff, but then went to the airport, got on the plane, and we started having our date that Saturday. Spent the whole day with her, but I had to be back for church on Sunday. So flew back Saturday night and went to church on Sunday.
He did.
Wow.
So he flew down, and I came and I picked him up. He was gonna rent a car, but I was like, no, you've already paid for the flight, so I'll just come pick you up from the airport. And I was calling my mom because, like I said, I hadn't seen him in person. And so I was on the phone with my mom, and I was riding through where the arrivals come out.
Does your mom live in Atlanta?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And at that time I was actually living with my parents. And so I was told I was going to meet this guy or whatever. She knew who he was. But anyway, so I'm waiting on him to come out, and y'all, I see this man, and I said, baby, I'm about to keep driving because they diss him. I'm going to have to leave him here. It's not even going to work. It's not going to work. And she was like, you cannot do that. And so, anyway, it wasn't him. Yeah. But, so I was like, where's the skull? I know. So he finally comes out, and I think we went to some little small restaurant.
Yeah,
And so we did that. And it was a really enjoyable first day. It was a long first day because you stayed all day, so it was maybe 6-8 hours. So we ate twice and walked around.
Went to the movies.
Yeah, went to the mall, just kind of hung out. And then he got back on the plane. And then after that, Labor Day was.
No, before you get there, how did y'all feel on that first date?
That's actually a great point. I told my mom when I got back home from the first day, I was like, "This is my husband."
You did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was and she was because he was everything
why?
I had prayed for, and I was very specific. I was very specific in what I prayed for, and so I knew, and because I have super high standards, and so I know I'm if I meet a person in the flesh, that's my standard. I know, I was like, this is my husband, and she was like, okay. I came back and told her, she's like, all right. So, but I knew. I always say I can tell. I'm not gonna say I can tell within the first 15 minutes of dating a person whether or not, or meeting a person whether or not they're my husband, but I can tell if they're not. And so if I meet you in 5 minutes, I can tell by stuff you start saying. I'm like, this is not gonna work. So I knew. I was like, this is my husband. I think I met him. So she said, okay. But it was a really enjoyable.
So you really
experience.
felt like that. Mm-hmm. Have you ever felt like that before? Mm-mm. And so when you told your mama that, she was just like, okay.
Yeah, because she probably was like, this girl, this girl done went on this little date. She don't know this man. You know, she's like, whatever. Like, and my daddy would always say, because you know, you'd be like, it's just puppy love. And my daddy would be like, well, still love to the puppy. But you know, it's just like, they just was like, okay, girl.
What do you say? Still love to the puppy?
Still love to the puppy. So I was like, well.
I like that. I'm going to start using that. Yeah. Shout out to him.
So after that, we planned our next date, which was Labor Day.
Hold on, let me ask him.
Okay,
How'd you feel on the first date?
I felt like it went well. I wasn't overly excited. I'm like, man, this could work. Because I'm slow motion. So like, I'm not going to run into anything too quick.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed myself. I had a good time. But in the back of my mind, it's like, man, she still wants to get married. So I still thought about that.
Get married next week.
Yeah, I'm like, man, so does it mean now we saw each other? Are we getting married soon? But I knew that I wanted to continue, and it was worth the trip. Mm-hmm. It was worth the travel.
All right. And so you said, cool, pressure. You was like, this is my husband. Yeah. But you never communicated that to him.
I did not tell him that.
Okay.
I wasn't that crazy. I did not tell him that.
All right, just trying to make sure.
Yeah.
You know you my husband, right?
Right.
Like, Jesus,
right.
How can I run?
Like, I want to ask, because a lot of women may not know, or they may not have the same philosophy.
Sure.
Why, in your opinion, why do you recommend, or why did you decide not to tell him what you knew?
Because I wanted to confirm it. That was what I felt, but I wanted to give time will confirm a lot of things if you let it. And then two, I think because it will scare people. And as you'll also find out later in the story, I feel like if Kevin is my husband, God will tell him the same thing. Mm-hmm. I don't have to tell him that. And everybody, and this is something that I learned on the back end as well, everybody has the right to arrive when they're supposed to. The right to arrive at, hey, I'm ready to be married. The right to arrive at, hey, you are the person I'm supposed to be married to. You cannot rush people down the aisle. You can't make people have a revelation about who you are and your value. They're either going to see it in the timing that they're supposed to see it, or they're not. And I knew telling him was not going to convey that.
Not going to expedite the process.
Yeah, but it's going to speed nothing up.
Yeah.
It would have slowed it down. It would have slowed it down.
Yeah.
And so then what happened? So you said the second date was on, you said Labor Day?
Labor Day. We met I went to Ohio the second time and met his family.
Oh, you met the family?
Yeah, so that's how I knew. You know, I was like, we in there. And I think it was that I think he asked me to be your girlfriend that weekend.
I did.
Let me ask you, why'd you introduce her to your family?
That's a good question.
Because I'm wonderful.
You are wonderful, babe.
That's right.
But that's a big step to a lot of guys. Some guys, they mama be in on it, so they just be bringing different women
Correct.
through. But if you have these values and you introduce to the mama and the family, then that's saying something.
Yeah.
You didn't say just your mama, you said family.
Yeah,
Mom, dad, brother, sister.
Oh, everybody.
Yeah, everybody, family, friends. We was all just in there having a good time. It was a little cookout.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did feel that this could go somewhere. And I wanted to make sure that I do have a strong community. And so that at least getting some, hey, this is who I'm pursuing. This is what I'm thinking about. What do you guys think?
So you were submitting to wise counsel.
I always do. And I always do.
That's good.
And now do I always listen to it and follow through? No, but I will receive wise counsel. And I think later in the story we'll talk about how that kind of played out.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately being able to have people in your life who can give you that wise counsel, that godly counsel to say, hey, you need to go this way, this part of the direction, and have discernment. And we've been there before. Yeah. It helps out a lot.
And what they say about her when they met her?
They loved her.
And then what did you think about his family?
I like him. I mean, when I met them initially, I was like, oh, it was just different. I think it was all different. They're from Ohio. Just my family's very Southern. His family is just different, but in a good way. And I got to experience Ohio. I just got to see what they were like and what they do there. I think we've gone apple picking. We've done all kinds of little stuff in Ohio.
Yeah. So when y'all left after you left that moment, that confirmed it even more. Was that another bit of confirmation?
Well, actually, I'm gonna tell you what was another big confirmation was I think maybe our third or fourth date. Kevin came down and I had I don't know what I ingested. But I ingested something and it made me have angioedema. I don't know if y'all are familiar with it. It's like it's basically like a reaction, like an allergic reaction to something almost. But like if you've seen Hitch, you know where Will Smith. It was. I woke. I'm not kidding, y'all. We were supposed to be going on a date. I got a picture. I'm sure to y'all. We were supposed to be going on a date, and I in the middle of the night, I was like, my lip feels like really tight. Like I don't know what's happening. And so I got up and I went to the mirror and I was like, oh my God. And it was like, y'all, it was like this big. I'm not kidding you. I wish if I had my phone, I would show it to you. Yeah. It was so huge.
It was like Hitch.
And so it really was
like Hitch.
It was like Hitch.
And so remember I told you I was staying with my parents. So I was like, oh my God. So I ran and said, my mom's a nurse. So I ran upstairs to her room. And I was like, Mom, look at my face. And she was sleeping. She was like, oh my God. Like, I was like, don't do that. And she was like, what's wrong with your lip? And so my daddy was like, what is wrong with your face? He was like, you look like somebody beat your behind. And I was like, I don't know. And so I called him and I was like, I know we were supposed to go to a tape in a Family Feud with Steve Harvey. You know, you could watch him live. And I was like, Steve Harvey's going to talk about me so bad. I cannot go. And so we did not go. We went to the movie theater because it was dark. And I looked ridiculous.
It wasn't that bad.
It was. But he made me feel good about it. And so
you still went on the date.
I did.
Because I know most people would never do that.
The only reason I still went was because he had flown down from Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
If he would have just been in Atlanta, I'd have been like, nah, we're going to have to reschedule. Yeah, we're going to have to reschedule. So we went on and went.
But how did it feel like letting him see you that way?
I was nervous at first, and then I was like kind of embarrassed. But you know, when he did you laugh at me?
No, I didn't laugh at you in front of you. Not in front of you. Me and your dad probably laughed at you, but not in front of you.
I was like,
not in front of you.
But once I saw that for the most part, he was like, you know, he's very gentle. I was like, okay, this is a good sign. And so I was like, I just had to make the best of it at that point. Because
and at that point, y'all have been knowing each other for how long?
Probably 4 months. It was early.
It was
probably
early.
a few months.
Yeah. So
it got real early. It got real early.
So at that point, I was like, okay, you know, this feels good. And we were already obviously in a relationship at that point. So we just kind of kept talking. And probably up until his schedule started to get to become too much. And it that's when the tension kind of started to, I guess, there was friction there, I guess is a good way to put it. He had a lot. He was working. It was busy season at his firm. He was teaching a class. He was at the church. He was doing the King James tournament. The King James tournament was in a completely different part of Ohio. So he was driving like up and down the road.
Explain what the King James tournament is.
So it's a basketball tournament for AAU.
Okay.
So a high school friend of my dad's who coaches basketball, he runs a tournament where probably 200 to 300 teams come in to play at one weekend. And so because we had the relationship with them, we helped support it, do back end stuff to be a part of the tournament.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you talking about LeBron James thing?
Correct. That's correct.
I'm thinking of the Bible. I was like,
like a Bible challenge.
Yeah, I thought it was a Bible challenge. I was like,
it's a basketball
thing.
I actually thought the same thing.
Yeah. I was like, see, it was all this ministry. They was over doing Bible tournaments and Bible quizzes because that's what I grew up doing.
King James tournament.
I was like,
that must be a Midwest thing.
No, because you know they're all like LeBron and everybody's from Ohio.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing.
Bad. Yeah. It's a basketball tournament.
That is so funny.
That's funny.
We super safe. Y'all was having Bible quizzes and stuff.
Right.
Is there an NIV tournament?
Like church kids. I used to be involved in that.
Yeah.
And so it got busy. Let me ask you this: 4 months in, when you said that he had to be serious about you, did you have a premeditated time or a shot clock saying he needs to propose at this time?
Kind of.
I don't know if it was like he needs to propose, but I am definitely a person that like it don't take all that.
But what does that look like? In your mind, would you have stayed with him for 3 years? Is that too long?
I probably would not have stayed for 3 years.
What about 1?
He said, yeah, that's too long.
I would have stayed for 1.
So 1 year.
I don't remember going that way. I don't remember going that way.
No, it didn't go
That's
that
the
way.
conversations we had too. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
it
All right.
So in your mind, you didn't have a time?
I had about a year.
So you had a year for a ring?
Yes.
Okay, a year for a proposal.
And I might have given him a few extra months had he communicated it well to like save up for a ring or something like that. If we had
so as long as it's communication and intention attached to the communication, then you'll say, all right, cool. I can rock with this.
Yes. Where I think we got messed up was at that time, I was not mature enough I'm gonna just keep it 100.
Please.
Go ahead.
That's what we're
I
here
don't
for.
really do well when I'm not a priority. That don't work for me. So I just was not mature enough to not, to just be okay with like taking a back seat at that time. And I probably, looking back now, I probably could have just been like, it's a busy season. It's a season and it will pass. And how can I support him? Because he has a lot of things going on. I think maturity would have been, the first part of maturity would have been him listening to me when I told him not to do all those things, because I'm like, you have too many things on your schedule. You're not going to be able to do them all. And I was correct about that. But I now know that sometimes you have to let the Lord tell people stuff.
Absolutely.
It was not my place, I think, to tell him in the way that I was trying to tell him. I don't even know that we had enough relational equity at the time for me
Relational equity.
for me to say, hey, you need to listen to me. You need to arrange your priorities this way. We had been dating probably 6 months, and he's probably like, this girl don't know what she's talking about. I've been living my life like this, and it's been working out for me,
Yep.
And so I think that, again, I could have soft pedaled it a little bit more. I think that I could have prayed about it and just been like, God, what do you want me to do? How do I support him? And let him see for himself. Because this is the thing. If he has overpacked his schedule, he's going to figure that out when he starts missing things, when he wears himself down. And it's like, I don't always have to be the person to communicate that. I can just let you see, and then we can go forward. And I just I did not have the maturity to understand it at that point. So I'm certain that had I not been as vocal as I was, we might have been able to stay together. But I think that, coupled with him trying to manage his priorities, and I think at 26, you're still trying to really build a career and like find your footing, it was a lot. And all of it was like the perfect storm.
Give us a flashback. How did you communicate to him at that time?
I was like, you didn't miss 2 visits now. What are you doing? And then he's like, well, I was at the church this weekend, and I was like,
at church, but I was at the church. So you should be happy about the man's at the church. I'm serving. I'm here serving.
Yeah, but you supposed to be serving me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, I know, but I told you not to do all that stuff to begin with. So I don't really.
I told you not to do all that stuff.
Yeah, like I don't.
Like,
if you would just listen to me, like I'm certain it was something along those lines. And then he was supposed to come down for Valentine's Day, and he missed it.
What happened on Valentine's Day, Kevin?
I took an L.
Time.
I took an L.
You took an L?
I did.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, and I guess, to be candid, I didn't recognize how big it was, because I'm not a holiday person like that. For me, even in our marriage now, I celebrate her all year round.
He does.
So for me, do I need to take one day out that somebody decided to do? But it means something to her. And recognizing that means something to her, make it a priority. And so I think in the entirety of the first, I guess, dating experience, I feel like she was so focused on getting to marriage and not growing in relationship.
That's good.
And so, I mean, it was to the point, well, okay, if we're getting married, we can change your kitchen and do this. We can do them. Like, hold on, this is month 6. And like, even though it's month 6, it doesn't feel like month 6 because you're long distance.
Yeah.
So at this time, I only seen her maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
So
really?
Yeah, because we saw each other maybe once a month.
We were twice a month.
Okay, maybe
a little bit
yeah.
at the beginning.
But either way,
then,
I guess I'm saying 6 months, I saw you 8 times.
Yeah,
right?
that's fair.
It's still not a lot of time for me, is what I thought. So I thought I had time.
And you were 26.
I was 26.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to get my career off the ground, build who I am as a person, a few years out of college at this point. And so she's a few years older than me, but still just trying to figure out, can we just learn about the relationship each other and not about the end goal? And so I think that, on top of my schedule being too busy, not making her a priority, because I could have made it work. I really could have, but I'm like,
She's like, how's that going to happen doing 50 million?
Meaning I'm saying I could have made her a priority and dropped something else.
Okay, you had to drop something.
Correct. And decide to show up for Valentine's Day and just to show up, do these things. But I was like, you know what? She's pushing me and pressuring about marriage. Now it's getting too much. So now it's like, is the priority really her? Probably not. She might have been second at that time. Because at that time, it was a promotion year for me at work. So I was really focused on just, I want to get promoted. I know it's going to help me in the long run. Whoever my wife is will be happy that I get to this level at some point. I felt like I was called in certain ministries. I was on our trustee board at our church. So I was really involved.
At 26?
At 26.
You was on a trustee
I was
board?
on a trustee board at 26.
In charge of the money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I felt like...
Oh, yeah, because you're accountant.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've always felt like God called me to be a servant leader. And so it happened early for me at that church and to be able to do that. So I felt like I was in the right space. So it's almost tension for me where I feel like I'm in my right calling. Maybe my wife is pushing me somewhere differently. So there's tension there, but there's a way still to make it a priority and make everybody in their right space. And I think at the same time, our mentor talks about God's will, way, and timing. I don't know. I think the will was correct.
Yeah.
I think the way I got a little bit incorrect, but the timing wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so the timing on round 2 of us really getting back together is where I think it all made sense to me and aligned in a better space.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this. I'm going to ask both y'all this question. What did y'all's past relationships look like that brought y'all to this season? So like, because sometimes a woman may have spent too much time with the wrong person, so then they bleed on the next person. Like, I'm not wasting another 3 years with the wrong person, so you better do this. He's like, God, no.
Like, well, I'm taking their bullets.
It's like, Lord, can I just... Like the pressure. So did you experience anything like that where you told yourself, I'm not going to waste another 2 years, 3 years, whatever it was, and you said my next relationship, he has to be intentional from the beginning. It has to be this. There's certain things that, because you said everything that you wanted, he was, except for this big thing, which is this timing thing and prioritization. Because you said, I'm gonna be honest with you, I like to be prioritized.
I do.
And anytime somebody showed me that, I just may be like a little girl and throw a temper tantrum. So it's like...
Or dismiss you.
or dismiss you. So was anything in your past that made you come to this version of you, or have you always been like that?
A little bit of both. No, I don't think I had any particular relationship where I necessarily felt like somebody wasted my time. But for me, because I am a lover, like, and I'm a very loyal person. When I love hard and deep. I didn't want to keep going through, like, you meet a person, it's like, they're not the one. So I was like, I'm tired of doing this. Like, Lord, I'm going to just let you pick. The next person I be with is going to be my husband. Because a relationship is too much of an emotional investment. There's too much energy required. There's just too much. And so I just did not desire to continue doing that and have it not work out. So when I met Kevin, I had just said, like, the next person I'm going to meet is going to be my husband. And see, that'd be the thing. I don't know. You know, God was trying to play you a little bit because he was like, okay, I got you. And I met him and he was my husband. But then God was like, all right, give him back. And so, you know, we were like dating, and when it started to like fizzle out, I was like, I'm not kidding y'all. I woke up one morning. And we had talked about it a little bit, like,
I remember
like
this day.
us not, like, me not being a priority. And he was like, no, you know, I'm serious about it, blah, blah, blah. And like, it was like that Tuesday, I think he had sent flowers to the house, and he was like, no reason, just because. I think that's what the note said. And then on Saturday, I woke up and God was like, break up with him. And I was like, but it was like,
why, God? Why?
Yeah. And I had already had so much. It was so much tension. I started to really just have like anxiety around it. Like, which is something that I know one of the ways that God speaks to me. Like when I have stayed too long, or when I'm out of place or out of step. And so I just started to have like anxiety around it. And so I called him and I was just like, you know, we got to like break up. And he was like, what? And I was like, you know, it's just not going to work. I'm not a priority, blah, blah, blah. And, he was like, I don't understand what you're talking about, but okay. And so I think at that point, he was like, he was mad. So then after I called and broke up with him, then I was like, well, I'm going to just call him back and be like, just kidding.
You know what I'm saying? But she's not mentioning the part that the day before on Friday, we just had a 4-hour conversation about trying to make this work.
We did.
And it was up to about not like 9 o'clock. And then I get a call at 11 a.m. It's over. I'm like, all right, if that's what we're doing, all right, cool. Like, I'm just back and forth. Like, I'm telling you, I'm doing my best. I'm trying. But if we're vacillating like this, okay, cool. I'm not gonna push it.
Yeah, and that's really what happened.
Yeah. And how did you feel? So when y'all broke up, well, let me ask you too. I want to ask you about your past dating experiences. What did that look like? You're only 26, so what did that look like at that time?
Yeah, it wasn't a deep dating experience for me. I mean, I'm not one just to date. I mean, there were a few relationships that I had. One thing I wanted all my relationships to be was centered around Christ.
Yeah.
That was my main goal. I grew up in the church. Family was always in church there 5 days a week. So just naturally, I was like, my wife, my girlfriends need to have some type of relationship. Come to find out that a lot of them had said they were Christians, but didn't have the relationship. And so the one thing that drew me to Brittany was her spirit. Like, she truly had a God-fearing relationship, and it was a daily one. So like, you know what, this could work, because this is something that's challenging me. And they've always, taught about priest, provider, protector. I'm like, well, if I'm the priest, I have to have a strong spiritual relationship, because she does. Yep. So that grew me up faster to say, you know what, get yourself together. I mean, you're serving in church, but do you have the strong relationship? So I think my dating experience was geared around that. So I didn't make a lot of mistakes there, but it wasn't, when I saw something that I knew was correct and the spirit was right, it made sense to try to make it work.
That's good. And so when she called you and told you that, she said it went to anger. What did that look like? Were you like, forget this girl, she played with me, I don't want to talk to you no more, I'm blocking you? How did it get?
I was upset. I don't know if I was angry, but I was upset just because of all the. I
tried to call you after that when I was trying to be like, just kidding, and you didn't even want to talk to me.
Right, that is true. That is true, because there were so many times that we were. I mean, I was taking time out of my work schedule to have conversations and say, okay, like literally, I'm in our office and I'm talking on the phone for 3 hours, and I come back, my team's like, "You good?" I'm like, just a personal matter.
Are you for real? It'd be 3 hours?
No, I promise you, sir. It was like 3 hours.
In the middle of your work day.
In the middle of work day, because she had a different work schedule. So like literally, and now granted though, yeah, we are working from like 7 to 7, or we're working late night.
Right. Everybody else off work. They still in the office.
Team is there, so it might have been 5 to 8, but it's still during the work time for us.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "You good?" I'm like, "No, it's a personal matter, no big deal." So I'm saying, in my mind, I'm making sacrifices.
Like, you need FMLA?
Yeah, it was like, what's going on? I'm like, man, I'm just trying. So I talked to my boy, like, man, bro, I was on the phone for 3 hours, dog. We had a good conversation. Like, you all right? I'm like, I think I'm all right. So like going back and forth, all of that, which is a lot of energy. So when she said it's over, I'm like, you know what? I've tried. I probably didn't fight as hard as I could have fought, but I'm like, all right, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, the next day I was a little salty for a while.
Let me ask you this, because you said I maybe didn't fight as hard as I could have fought. What does that look like, man? What does fighting hard? Because a lot of women say, I want a man to fight for me. And sometimes you can fight for somebody to the point of toxicity, to where now you're harming yourself fighting for them, because she running away. She like, I don't want this. And if she's dealing with, because she even said, hindsight being 2020, she felt like she was immature in the area of wanting to be prioritized in every way, so to speak, sure. and saying that there's seasons to go through. So then what could you have done, hindsight, from your standpoint, that would have caused you, or the fight, to last a little longer for her?
Yeah, I think the fight would have looked like healthy communication. It would have been saying, hey, I have this stuff going on. I know you are a priority to me. This is how I need to show up. And then probably do that. Not keep having conversations over and over again. I think she needed action to say, yes, you are a priority. I'm saying that, but I'm going to show you as well. Yeah. And that could have been not missing Valentine's Day. That could have been doing other things and not missing 3 trips, whatever it was. So not keep pushing to stay, but communicate better that this is where I'm at. This is what I can give to you. Are you okay with this?
When you look back on the missing the 3 trips, what made you miss those? Like, was it just, I was working, I didn't feel like getting on the plane, I was tired? Like, what made you miss 3 trips?
I think it was, she became priority number 2. Because really the work was, okay, there's work to be done. It was super busy. There's church stuff going. There's always something else I could have been doing. Yeah. So like, because I couldn't, I'm like, I'll just do this instead. It's easier to do this instead. And because we have this tension going on right now about, we're trying to get married, we're trying to do this, and that's pushing me actually away. Yeah. And then I didn't feel like, I need to go ahead and make this a priority. Because I mean, the first date, I had no problem jumping on a plane for one day and doing that. But now that it became tension, then the priority slipped, and that's when she started to feel that, and I didn't even notice it was going that far away.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Good Lord, makes a whole lot of sense. Because now you're staying away from it, because you have more peace away from it than being in the trenches of it. And then, so now fast forward. So y'all broke up. When y'all broke up, did y'all continue? You know how a lot of breakups, y'all still continue to talk?
Yeah, it is one of those a little bit.
So we tried a little bit, like right after, I think we talked about it. He was mad. And then maybe a year later, we tried again. We didn't like date. It was more of like a conversation, and we just were really not able to like move the needle.
But that was a key, because, so we talked about the first time she talked to me about marriage, right?
Yeah.
So we come circle the block again. And I said, all right, let's go out to dinner. I just have one request. Let's not talk about marriage at this dinner.
I don't know if you said at this dinner.
Okay, let's not. Okay,
you
either
just
way,
said let's not talk about marriage.
Let's not talk about marriage. I kept it general, fine. So then, having a great time. Got the apps here. Let me hold on. Got the apps. I'm gonna paint the picture for him. Had the apps here. Everything was great. Ambiance was nice. One of my favorite restaurants in Columbus. About 10 minutes in. So when you think about marriage, I said, you got to be kidding. And I was like, how we get back? I said, just one thing. Let's just not bring that up.
Because if we not talking about marriage, what we here for?
What are we talking about?
To get to know each other.
We already know each other.
I know. We just trying to reset and come back. That's all I'm saying. I'm like,
yeah, we know. You need to be resetting with the ring.
And that could be, but I was just trying to get to know.
With the ring.
Yeah, I was like, man, so when we try to circle it, I'm like, see, once again, I'm like, she just can't get off.
And I'm like, and he is not on the right. You're not on the boat.
I wasn't on the boat at that time because, like I said, it's God's will, way, and timing. So the time for me just wasn't there.
He said, let's don't talk about it. So,
Right.
So
about this marriage.
Because that's
you
what
want a big
we here
wedding?
for.
I'm like, man, all right, well, I guess we're talking about marriage again.
So did that just like 10 minutes in, are you already thinking on this date, like, this
Here
is
we
not,
go. It's not gonna work. I'm like, here we go again. And I told my boy, I said, she's got everything that I want, but she just does not follow the directions. and I'm like, and so to me,
has that changed?
It has not changed. It has not changed. I've learned to live with it now. It has not changed.
But look how wonderful your life has turned out.
Yeah, truly. And I guess it was just how we see things differently.
Exactly.
She's a dreamer. She's like, I see this, but what about this? We can do even these things. Let's live in the moment. Let's take it easy. And so to me, I'm like, she just can't. And I made it even worse than what it was. I made it like, well, she can't be content. It's like, that's not even true. Like, I put things on her that wasn't even there. I'm like, I just want to be at the dinner and talk about what I did today, what's going on in the world, not about marriage. But that's just how her mind works.
But I want to say too, though, also, I have all this wisdom looking back, right? But I think marriage had really just become an idol for me at that point, you know? And it was like, and I was determined to not let time get away from me. I wasn't going to be wasting my time in relationships with people.
And you were how old? Because he said you were older. How old were you at the time?
I was 29.
So, okay, you were just 3 years older.
Yeah. So it just really had become an idol, and it's anything.
Hold on, let me ask you this. Did you have the thing that I got to be married by 30? That whole 30 thing?
No, it wasn't a 30 thing. It just was, if I'm doing it, it's like, it has to, if I'm investing, there has to be a return coming.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot just be out here dilly-dallying with you. Like, and so but it had grown so big in my heart till, you know, it had just pushed out anything else. I was not able to see how it might have made him feel. I was not even able to see how rushing it might have robbed us of the opportunity to get to know each other better, to work through things, to grow. I just was like trying to get down the aisle. And to be honest, had we got married at that point, it would have, we have so much more, and we're not perfect now, but we have so much more grace for each other now. Like the second time around, we have so much more wisdom. We have the right people in place to help us. It's completely different. And so I just, making an idol out of anything is always going to end badly.
Yeah.
So
That's so good.
So you said that y'all had, so then that date, a year later, falls apart.
Yeah.
When do y'all revisit? How many years later?
5.
5 years later from that time.
Ain't talk to each other nothing.
Because at that point I was like, I'm not fooling with him no more. He don't know what he want, and I don't have time.
So did you start dating other people?
I was in a full-blown relationship.
Did you start dating other people?
I did a few people.
And then so in those dating, did y'all start feeling like the ones in between were the ones?
I don't think I had that revelation.
We know you. You slow. You. I'm gonna know when I get down on my knees. When I get down on my knees, you
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I never had the same feeling. Kevin was always different, and that's the thing too. It's like, you know, when you are exceptional, few people can compete with that.
You better teach.
Because people don't want to be excellent. And Kevin says that all the time. It's like, it's easier to be average. It's easier to be mediocre. When you are exceptional and you do right by people, it's going to be a hard act to follow every time.
Yep.
And so I had dated people who, no shade to them, all were wonderful people. They were not Kevin's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, and so it's funny you mentioned that. I was at church one day, and prophetically, somebody had come up to me and they were like, God said that they were like, God said that there's a relationship that he's going to restore.
Ooh, Jesus.
And
Lord.
they were like, he's going to give you, you
story.
heard his story. And they were like, he is going to give you somebody that can handle the weight of your glory. Because the thing about it is that one thing I know about me is that I can have
Hold on. You got this prophecy while you're in a relationship with somebody else?
Just before I got in a relationship with somebody else.
Ooh,
and so I thought because I didn't know, I didn't even think it was about Kevin. I was like, I don't know what that means. Like we gonna see. I didn't even think it was about, it didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
I probably got the prophecy maybe 3 years before Kevin and I even got back together. And so I just was like, okay. And so I went on and, kept dating and it never felt like Kevin, but I had closed the door on that because I was like, God, I'm going to be where you are. You obviously are not doing anything in that relationship with Kevin and I because he is not here. He has not chosen to be here. And so I am not going to be pining after somebody that's not pining after me. I'm just not getting ready to do it.
Use the word pining.
Pining.
That's
I think
the
the
old
old
school word.
I was
Old school word.
And so I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. And so I had moved on. I would not say I ever found anybody like Kevin, but I also was like, okay, that was just a chapter, like that was the end of the story and I'm not going to dwell there. I got to move on. So that was what I did. And then.
Yeah, so then it was 5 years later.
Yeah.
And
after that one time. So it was like 6 years from the time. Yeah.
Well, what about you in between in that 5 years? Were you thinking about her?
There were times I thought about her for sure. I mean, because I enjoyed our relationship, dating other people. It just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same spirit. And so I knew they weren't the one. And I was like, and I told my boys, I was like, man, if she could just do this, we would be good.
Yeah.
And so I never say I gave up on it, but I didn't think about it as a thing. And so then 6 years later, one thing I do every year is I fast for the first 31 days of the year. So I try to give God the first 10th.
Wait, but before you get there, you remember you texted me in
like December.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's true. That is the year before I came back, I texted her, but I don't know why I texted her.
What'd you say in the text?
Nothing.
I just said.
Well, I'm talking about nothing.
But what you supposed to? I mean, it's been 5 years.
I'm about nothing.
I said, hey, I hope everything's going well. Or
I wrote back,
like
it's
that.
going well. Hope you well too.
And it was very. I didn't get no energy back. I was like, okay, well, I mean, at least. But
I tried.
Yeah.
So were you trying to throw out bait?
I don't even know why I did it. I really don't. I just
this very day. You don't know why you
She just came to my mind. Like, let me just see how she's doing.
Well, I'm about to say you see on
I don't see
social
social
media.
media,
You ain't got no
nothing.
social
Nope.
media.
I didn't see. It just came like, let me just see how she's doing. So I would liken that to just the Holy Spirit prompting me something as foreshadowing what's going to happen. But I don't.
Was you in a relationship at that time?
Yes, I was. But what was funny was that I told my dad, I was like, you know what? Kevin texted me today. My dad was like, he trying to see if you married. I was like, well, he ain't asked that and I ain't offer it. So
Then
you need to mind his business.
She ain't dropped no hints, nothing. She's like, I'm good, thank you.
I
I'm
was
like,
done.
all right, well,
I was done.
got nothing out of that.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like your dad thought you was just trying to fish and see what kind of response you get back. And if she said, "Oh, hey, how you doing? How's life's going?" Then it opens up the door to have a conversation. "Oh, everything's going well. And are you dating?" Then that question gets asked. "Well, I'm married." And then your heart just breaks.
Done.
Well, God,
Congratulations.
I'm happy for you.
for you.
Oh, that line. I'm happy for you. You ain't happy for
Yeah,
me.
this bragging. This don't make no sense. Just mad.
Well, you started having one of those moments. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I spent my first 31 days of the year fasting, and just fasting in general. And about towards the end, sitting on the couch, God was like, "Brittany's your wife." I said, "I know you lying." I'm like, "Who?" I don't know. I'm like, "Okay, well," and it was like as clear as day. And I was like, I'm not sure about that. Let me get confirmation. So I extended the fast a little bit longer. I was like, I need to see. Let me do some more fasting because I ain't talking in 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, let me get deep into my word. Let me go deep. And it was clear as day. And I'm like, okay, you know what? If that's the case, I need to be prepared for this.
Let me ask you this: had your leadership ever said that when y'all were dating? Has anybody in your circle of influence said, "You know that's your wife, mama, you know that's your wife," like when they met her? Or was this the first time you've ever heard a word spoken that she was your wife and it came from God?
People gave me hints that this could be my wife. I mean, even when we were dating, I was considering her a marriage hopeful.
A marriage hopeful.
That was what in our, like, 'cause at that time, I think we were doing some counseling sessions too, just to make sure we were on the same page. I mean, so we were still going towards that direction.
Yeah.
So I think those people who were close to us, who had wisdom, felt that could be something. But for me, that big of a decision, I'm only getting one wife. So I want to hear from God.
Yeah.
So even though people are saying that, and that may be their feelings, they may like me, they may like her, I'm like, I want to hear what God has to say.
Absolutely.
And so at that point, I was like, God, you got to tell me again. Because I heard you, but make it clear, make it plain, God. So literally at that point, I extended my fast, and I was like, okay, well, if this is what the Lord is saying, I need to prepare myself, meaning getting myself ready for marriage. So before I even reach back out to her, we have a counselor who works with us very closely. I'm like, this is the word I heard from the Lord. Help me to get ready for marriage. So we spent time, like every week, hours, just getting ready. What does this mean? What does it look like spiritually? What does it mean to be a priest? How, are you ready here financially? Every aspect, just really going through it, pruning me to that before I even got to talk back to her. I'm like, I want to make sure I'm good. So when I come this time, I come correct.
Now, because that's what happened when you set the tone. Okay.
See, okay, the tone could be set. That's fine, but that's true because I knew when I was coming back who I was coming back to, and the type of person
I was coming back to.
I needed to.
So think about this though, because this is risky business. Because you don't know if she married.
I ain't got a clue.
You don't know what's going on. You don't have social media. You telling me you just moving by faith. You didn't even try to put you didn't go and try to create no social media page and go look at nothing. You just said, she my wife, and I'm finna be prepared for her.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. So truly it wasn't me and my mode. I'm slow motion anyways. So at that point, I'm like, well, a little nervous about having to call about this because I ain't talked to her in 5 years. So put on my gospel music. I'm trying to get hyped up, folks. Like, come on. I'm like, my God, now you said this. You better help me out now. I'm about to get my words together, rehearsing this.
Do you remember what song you turned on?
It was
No Weapon.
well, the first song I listened to was, I think it was Never Lost a Battle by Elevation. But I said if it go wrong, I'm going to It As Well. So either way, I'm going to have one way. So I had both songs playing in my head. So listen, I'm going in strong. But it's well my soul either way, God. So I was good on both ends. So I came prepared. Yeah. So I was good there. And I'm like, okay, let me make the phone call. She don't answer.
And let me tell you, so he called me. I was at work. And I actually, at that time, I was on the phone with my sister. And I looked at, the call waiting comes up. And so I looked down and I was like, girl. I was like, it's Kevin calling me. She was like, what do you think you want? I was like, girl, I don't know. I ain't talked to him in years. And she was like, don't answer it. I was like, we ain't gonna answer it. I was like, I don't need to talk to him. And so she was like, good. She was like, if he don't leave a voicemail, he don't want nothing anyway. And so I was like, okay, that's a good point. And so then, you get that alert and it's like, left a voicemail. And I was like, oh, girl, he done left a voicemail. So then I go down and I call him back. I went down to my office and I called him back. And he was like, hey, hey, how are you? Hope all is well. I was like, I'm good. How are you? What do you want? And he was like, I just want to apologize. I didn't really make you a priority all those years ago. And, I just really owe you an apology. And, I know you're a wonderful person, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I said, don't even worry about it. Be blessed. Go on. Go about your way. Don't let this keep you up at night.
Don't blessed him with goodbye.
Yeah, no.
Just go
Gave me
on.
a benediction.
Yeah, I did.
And God bless you.
Yeah.
May we watch between me and thee.
That's it. May the sun be at your back. Like, I was like, okay. And so we got off the phone because I was like, I don't know.
Was you in a relationship still?
I was. And I was like, that is so weird. Like, I don't know what he wants. And moving on. And so then I think he called back a couple of days later and he was like, I'm calling back. And I'm like, yes, can I help you? Because you just called a few days ago now. What you need? And he was like, I don't think you understand. God told me that you're my wife.
Now you coming with
applying.
Now that's where you come.
Because the first time I was like, let me slow out. I don't know where she was at.
Yeah.
But I'm like, at the end of the day, this is what God told me. So I'm gonna be very clear. This is what's gonna happen. I'm not sure.
Do me a favor because it's getting good. I need you to just raise that microphone up, like unscrew the side, or even that way is even better. That's fine. And then tighten the side, the other side.
This one.
Yes. Yeah. And then turn that microphone right. Yeah, perfect.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it was drooping. You started applying pressure. Unpack, King.
Yeah. So at that point, I'm like, she needs to know how direct I'm coming. This is not a just, okay, let's see what's going on. We're going to be married at some point. And so I told her, and I probably called her early in the morning too. I'm like, I don't know why I called her early in the morning, but I did.
I did the same thing. Keep going.
Get it while it's fresh.
Call that 6 in the morning. You're going to wake up here, my boy.
It was about 7.
It was. And then that pissed me off too, because I'm like, why are you calling me this early in the morning? And y'all, let me tell you what's so bad about it. So he calls me, right? He's like, I don't think you understand. God told me. And I was like, I said, well, he ain't told me that. And I'm in a relationship and you need to stop calling me. It's rude.
Just sit there and lie. Because God told you at the very beginning.
Exactly. So I was like, So I'm like getting mad. And he's like, okay, then I'm going to just wait. I was like, well, you going to be waiting forever. Because he's like, he going to tell you. I was like, I don't care. And then it pissed me off so bad. So like, y'all, so we're on the phone now, right? And I don't even know. Y'all, now mind you, it's 7 a.m., so I got my little night shirt, and I got on my bonnet. It's an orange bonnet, okay?
Bright orange bonnet.
Video called you.
Yes, and so I had my ear to the phone. I don't know what was happening, and I had called my mom, and I was like, girl, can you believe he just called me talking about some God told me? I was like, he needs to stop this mess. And I'm sick of him. I ain't got time to be playing with him. Like, I'm just going in, okay?
What's going on?
Going
just
in.
disobedient.
And I
Just defiant.
yeah, and I hear the phone starts to sound different. And I'm like, Mama, what's wrong with your phone? This phone done FaceTime Kevin.
FaceTime me.
Now, I ain't seen Kevin.
FaceTime me, brother.
I ain't seen Kevin in like, first of all, I ain't seen him in like
about 6-7 years.
It ain't been that long. It's been like 4 years that I saw him. 4 or 5 years, whatever it was.
5.
And so I got on a bonnet. I just was looking a mess. And so then I see him. I was like, how did you get on my phone? He was like, you called me. And I hung up the phone because I was like,
you called me.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was so embarrassed. I don't
great.
even know if I was embarrassed because he heard me talking trash about him, or if I was embarrassed because I looked a mess with my bonnet on. I don't know which one it was, but I was so embarrassed. And so I called my dad, and I was like, Dad, you'll never guess what happened. So I tell him a story, and he is dying laughing. And I'm like, well, why are you laughing? This is not funny. And he was like, yes, it is. And so after he's done laughing, he's like, you need to call that man and apologize, because she was talking trash about him.
I threw her into something.
So then my daddy made me call him and apologize. So then I had to call back and apologize for talking mean about him to them. And it was a mess. It was a mess.
So what did you think when she called you back?
I knew we had something moving. What? I did. Because I think at that point, I didn't hear a lot of what you were saying, but because you were talking to somebody about it, that means it impacted you somehow.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, okay, that applying pressure. So she's now thinking about it. So the wheels are in motion at some point.
There it is.
So I just hung up. I'm like, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. Thank you, God. I was like, we'll be all right. Because at that point, you was like, I'm in a relationship. I was like, I won't be rude. I'm like, fine. I was like, God will tell you when he needs to tell you. And that was it.
Now, were you having marriage conversations with the guy you were with? Because you told him how intentional you were. Did you tell the guy you were dating at the time?
Keep that same energy?
Yeah, no, I did. And at that point, we had been dating for a little bit of time, but long enough.
Well, what time? How long?
It had been like 2.5 years.
Uh-huh.
Right.
But you over here with
Gave me 6 months long distance. Ain't that crazy?
I told you.
I'm telling you, it's interesting, Dana.
No.
It's interesting.
And so let me tell you.
That's crazy.
He all long distance. The other dude lived in Atlanta.
But let me tell you.
No, did he live in Atlanta?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Bring it back.
He conveniently live in the same city.
Yes.
And he gets 2.5 years, and he live in a whole nother state.
Got
Got to
half a
relocate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
So let me
Got
tell
a
you.
season and a half.
Yeah, and he at 26. You want him to be ready in 30
Ready to go.
days.
Well,
and the
I was
other
trying
man,
to learn from my mistakes.
She
You
was.
said
Yeah.
I rushed
That's what
last.
she was
went opposite
Thank
extremes.
you.
Tell her
She
always
was
learning.
learning.
Yes.
It was a process.
Yes.
She was going
long
through the
process.
process.
It's a long process.
Yeah, it must have been on L Dollop or something. That's a long process.
I was trying to learn.
Good Lord.
So,
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead and testify.
yeah, so I was still
with
in a
you when you right.
relationship. Dang. Oh no, he talking about something. I'm with you when you're right. So anyway, I was like, I've been doing this for a little while. I don't know where this is going, and I was fasting at the beginning of the year. I was doing the fast with Pastor Mike Todd, because I didn't do the first 21 days or whatever. So I was like fasting as well, because I was like, I need to get some clarity about what I'm doing. We've been doing this too long, and something got to break, like Kiera say, Kiera Shear. So anyway, so I was like, no. So I was fasting, and you know how you fast for clarity, but instead it was not getting more clear. It was getting more cloudy. And so I was like, I am so confused. And so what I later discovered was that the confusion was the answer. You know what I'm saying? Like that, the confusion was the clarity. It was like, you don't have peace about this. You've been fasting. This is not it. And so as I was like still sitting in that, because like I said, when I love people, I love hard. And so then I started to feel bad. And then I had that same anxiety. I was like, it was like when I get out of step with God, the longer I stay places I'm not supposed to be, like the anxiety grows. It's like the Holy Spirit sits on me until I do what I'm supposed to do. And so at that point I had talked to my parents, and I think actually Kevin, because I had told Kevin, I was like, do not call me anymore. Like, you about to be blocked.
He said, you did.
And so I was like, do not call me, because I am just a person. I like to do things decent and in order. And if I'm in a relationship, I am never, I'm going to respect it. And so I was like, do not call me. And so he was like, okay. So he sent some flowers to my house, and I'm like, I don't know what part of.
You said don't call. You said you say not. Don't send no
You
flowers.
didn't say that part. You're not detailed. Because the last time I didn't give action, I just gave words. So I want to give you both this time. I'm saying, just in case the word clear, this is what God said, and I'm also show you this is where I'm at.
I pulled up to my house, and it was like 3 dozen roses on the porch.
3 dozen roses.
I gave it all. I gave it all.
And they were red, and I was like,
I don't care if you got a boyfriend.
He did not care at all. And I didn't call him and tell him thank you. I didn't say nothing. I took him to my grandma. God rest her soul. Today is actually her birthday. But I took him to my grandma. And she was like, oh my gosh, red roses. You know I love red roses. I was like, Grandma, I got these just for you. And I took them to her. And so I left her and I gave them to her, because I was like, I'm not going to keep no roses from another man. I'm in a relationship. What I look like. So I just was like done. I was like,
did you tell your boyfriend he had said that? No.
That's a good. No, actually, I want to say I did.
I think you said you did.
I want to say I did. Yeah.
What was he saying?
I think at that point he kind of knew that we were like,
y'all about to go
different ways.
Yeah. So I think
that'd be funny if your boyfriend said, you know that's your husband, right?
Why you playing?
Right.
You playing. I don't want to get in your way no more.
Right.
That's your husband.
Right.
I ain't sent you no 3 dozen roses.
As we started to get toward the end of the relationship, I think it sort of became a mutual, like, this is not a good fit type thing. So I think I did tell him. But so we ended up breaking it off, and I ended up calling Kevin.
How long
But it was
later?
some time. It was it was almost like a month or so, a few weeks before you actually called me back. Because after the roses, I never got a response that you got them.
Yeah, I
Only
did
one
not.
I knew because of my email said deliver. I'm like, okay, at least they got to the house.
Yeah.
But I heard nothing.
Yeah.
And she didn't reply. I didn't talk to her at that point. It was a few weeks, I think, before any other communication happened.
Yeah.
So when she said don't call her, you literally didn't even text her to say, did you get the roses?
Didn't say nothing.
You said, I'm going to respect what you say.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm going to respect that, but I know they delivered because they said it was delivered.
What'd you put on the card?
I don't know what I put on the
what
card.
you put on the card?
I know you don't know.
Scripture. I think you put
I
some
think-
type
I
of
think I put
scripture.
a scripture
Or
on
something
there.
like God gonna tell you something.
No.
He's
He put on the scripture, bone in my bone, flesh in my flesh.
It was a scripture. I can't remember what the scripture was, but it was a scripture, and I signed like K, and that was it.
Yeah. And so I reached back out to him, and I was kind of just trying to see if he was like really serious. And so I was like, well, how
I was so excited.
Women, this is what it means when they say never let your boyfriend get in the way of your husband.
from your husband.
Man, bro, I
This
was
is what
so
that looks
excited.
like in real time.
In real time.
Yeah. Because I was working out. I knew at some point it was going to happen, but didn't know when it was going to happen. I was like, God, you
Yeah, I
said
remember you
this, so
saying
at
that.
some point it's going to take place.
So you was 100% faithful, like this is what I'm going to do, and I believe God's going to do it.
Yep, I
And you
knew
cut
it.
off every other option of any other woman.
started
at
cutting
the-
off all of them.
And said, this is my wife, I'm
Yep.
waiting.
Even friends that like girls that were friends, I'm like, hey, I need to move away from this, slide back a little bit, just because I'm preparing for something. So at that point, it was like just get your life ready, a reset. And so I was in the gym and meal prepping, like I always been golf. That's all I was doing. And I literally
golf.
saw her name on my phone. I'm like, I'm gonna stop this whole workout. Stopped the workout, left the gym, got in the car, like, Kevin, this the moment. So and then she called, and we would talk about 3-4 hours.
We did. We
That's
talked,
good.
just kind of like caught up a little bit. And
No,
so,
I wasn't a caller. She was interrogating me.
all right. Yeah, I was because I don't have
she
time.
wanted to know, like, okay, what are you really about? But I was prepared because I already prepared
Yeah.
for this. So every time she had a
That's
question, I
good.
You
felt
had an
like
answer.
I had the answer because I knew last time I didn't have the answer.
Yes,
So I knew I had to
teach.
come correct. I was like, I'm praying about it.
I'm correct or not at all.
And that's
Yeah.
fine. But I felt like I did the best I could.
You did. You
Yeah.
did.
So we was on the phone, had a good conversation, about 3 or 4 hours.
And when
Yeah.
you walked away from that conversation, what did you think?
I thought, okay, I think he's serious. And I said to him after the conversation, well, he said to me in the conversation, and this one I really knew, in the conversation, he was like, well, you know, the next time I'm in Atlanta, can I stop by and see you? And I said, well, yeah, sure. Whenever you're in Atlanta, you can stop by. And I was like, well, when are you going to be in Atlanta? And he was like, on Saturday. And I'm like, it's like Wednesday. He's like, yeah, that's going to be the next time I'm in Atlanta. And I was like, well, what are you coming for? And he was like, to
For
see
you.
you. And I was
For
like,
you.
oh,
Kevin,
my
that
Lord.
pressure, bro. I had
He
it.
said the next time I'll be when the next time, the next time.
Next time,
The next time is the next time.
Yes,
I'm
it
finna come
is.
see you.
And so he came, and I was like, okay, well, we can just get brunch. Like, we'll keep it light. So we went and got brunch. And after that, there's a jewelry store, like, right, we were in like Buckhead. And so he was like, he asked me at brunch, he was like, what kind of ring do you want? And I was like, why is he asking me about this? And so I think I told him, I thought I wanted an oval or something. Turns out ovals are ugly on my hand. But anyway, so I think I had told him that I thought I wanted that maybe. And so he was like, well, I was like, but I'm really not sure. And he was like, well, let's just go look. So we go to the jewelry store. And the lady in there is like, oh, she's like, you guys are such a cute couple. She's like, how long have you guys been dating? I was like, man, we not together.
Yeah, it was
We
our
just-
first reconnection.
I was like, we are not together. We just looking at
It didn't offend me because we can be married soon.
Yeah.
It didn't offend me.
Yeah.
We'll be married soon.
so,
What you say, Kevin?
We'll be married soon. Yeah.
so she
It's not
was
gonna offend
like,
me.
she was like, okay. She was like, well,
said,
what do
we'll be
y'all want to
married
see? So we just started looking at some stones. She's like, oh, we have this really nice stone. And like our other store is like north of here. And so she's like, it's about 30 minutes away. And I was like, well, that's fine. We don't need to go. We just was looking. And he was like, no, we'll go. We're going to go up there and tell us where it is. So we
Dang.
get in the car and we go up here. And at that point, we sat at the store probably like an hour.
Yeah, it was a good bit of
It was
time.
an hour and a half. And so I figured at that point, I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, he's serious.
Yeah, he's serious. And so I just kind of stood outside. And then I think a couple of days later, you ended up buying the ring. I
Yeah.
didn't know it, but
Because I asked you on the second call we had, I'm like, if I asked you to marry me in 90 days, would that be too fast?
he
And,
did.
and you like, you paused for a little bit, like, no, it wouldn't be. But
but
I don't know if you meant that, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, that's what she said. I don't know if you meant it, but thank you.
I don't
Check
know
your
when
You
confirmation.
said it.
And
That's
I
all I
don't-
need.
I don't know because I remember, because the thing about it is
That's what I
that
heard.
when we had started talking, I remember telling him at the beginning, I was like, I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I mean, I was just in one. And he was like, well, that's fine. He was like, I mean, you do what you gonna do and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Right, hold on. So I'm about to shout right now. When I tell you that is a mantra for me, I say a man that leads doesn't need permission.
You're right.
He'll say, listen, do what you got to
Yeah.
do. I'm going to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
Don't stop me from doing what I'm
Yeah.
doing. It ain't going to stop you from doing what I'm
Yeah.
doing. But I guarantee you will submit to God's will, because at the end of the day, I don't have to force. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, because if
Yeah.
you stop a man's intentionality, now you start having them operate in his femininity. And he's like, well, she said she went. Well, let me just
You
wait till
right.
she ready. Now you're leading again.
Yeah.
And so if you, at the beginning, you said, I want a man that's going to lead.
I did.
He done did his work. He said, I prepare me to be a husband,
Yeah.
not prepare me to be a husband when she's ready for me to be a husband.
Come on.
He said, prepare me to be a husband. And even with a wife, the Bible says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor in the Lord. That means that when he finds her, she's already a wife.
Yeah.
It's that she just get ready to be a wife. She is already a wife. Now, the intricacies of the marriage and the dating and all that stuff has to be defined or refined, but she's already a wife. Just like a seed is already a tree, it just
Yeah.
has to mature to that tree. So what happens is that I love the fact that he said this, and I got to celebrate you, Kevin, for this. You said, you do what you're going to do. and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all I needed was that 90 days. Because then in the background, I told my sister, hey, this 90 days from now, we have an engagement. Make sure your schedule is free. Mom, y'all free on this one. And then I went literally.
You wouldn't tell people that for real?
100%. Only the people that I trusted, though. Because at this point, you haven't seen this woman in 5 years.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me you're about to marry her. So it was people who had spiritual wisdom to understand that this was a God thing.
Yes.
And they had no issue with it. Because when I told my dad, I said, Dad, I prayed about this, fasted. Brittany's my wife. He said, no problem. Let me know where to be. Because he was good with it. I told my bishop, he was good with it. My best friend, they were good with it because they had that spiritual backing to say, you know what? He's led by the Lord. We support that. We understand it.
That's good.
And so then I'm telling everybody, hey, this day you need to be here. I called her parents, hey, I'm not messing around.
But you know what? Even before we got there, when we first kind of started back talking, we had gone out to dinner with my family, my parents and everybody, because he had not seen them also in like 5 years. And my mama was like, he was like, I just want to thank you all for letting me like come back. And my mom was like, okay, well, what you gonna do? And he was like, I think he was kind of like, I'm serious. I want to be with her. And she was like, yeah, because you know how when you're a child and your mom like, you ain't going to be coming in and out this door.
Yeah.
You either go outside and stay outside or come. That's what she told
be no back and forth.
She was like, no, you're not going to be coming back and forth.
Yeah.
She was like, if you back to stay. And he was like, yes, ma'am, I'm back.
I'm here. Don't worry about it.
Stay outside or inside.
That's it. But she said you ain't coming in and out. So I think kind of you.
So when y'all had that conversation, when you start telling your family members in 90 days, y'all wasn't even technically in a relationship?
We're in a relationship. Nope.
No. And by the time we got ready, I think it was in like May. I had said, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to maybe be in a relationship now. And he was like, girl, don't worry about it.
I was like, I don't even need that. Because my mind, in a couple of weeks, we getting engaged.
We got engaged.
I don't even need that.
We got engaged Memorial
That's
Day.
the formality.
Right. He was like,
Whatever you need, go ahead. I'm good.
Yeah,
we can do that.
That's cute.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a ring upstairs, but okay, you want me boyfriend, girlfriend? Let's go ahead and do it.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
No problem.
So it was like, I was like, okay.
So that day you really did went and got that ring when she was standing outside?
So no, I was trying to figure out which one worked. So I didn't buy it then, but then I had another visit about 2 weeks after that. And so I told her.
About it a couple days later.
No, it was the next visit. And I told her my flight was at 3, but it's at 11, so I can get back and everything like that. So the next visit, I went up and got it and purchased it that time. And we still weren't boyfriend, girlfriend that time. Still had but I didn't need that title because God already told me what was going to happen. So I need that to be a sign. So ultimately, I feel like in this example, like God redeemed the time.
Yeah.
Because if you think about us getting engaged Memorial Day and we got married that same year in December, it was an 8-month period.
Yeah.
We dated for 8 months the first time and didn't get anywhere. But in that 8 months, we were able to get engaged.
Yeah.
I moved to Atlanta and we got married in 8 months because it was on God's time.
Dang.
But none of it felt rushed because it all felt like we were in the flow.
It did. It didn't feel rushed. It felt like a whirlwind. Like, in Amos, when it's like that, it's like Amos 9:13. It's like one thing happening fast, like one thing after another. Like that's what it felt like. It was a whirlwind. It was like engaged and like my family had come up for that. So we did that, and then it was like wedding dress shopping like a month later. It was literally just
let me just go back. When he proposed to you, basically, was it really 2 weeks after you said your cute little speech like, I'm ready to be in a relationship?
Yeah, it was because it was in May when I told him, and then we came up for Memorial Day. And what he had said was, he was like, well, my family's going to come up. I'm going to have a cookout. My family's coming.
That is crazy.
So he was like, we're going to have, my family's coming up. They want to see my house. Have a cookout. Do you want to come? And I was like, oh, okay, that'd be nice because I haven't seen him in so long.
Yeah.
I was like, that'd be nice. So we go, unbeknownst to me that my family had fun up as well. They were just hanging out in Ohio.
They didn't even tell you they left?
I didn't know. I literally, when he got up,
your mom and daddy, who you lived with?
my mama, my daddy,
Your
my
sister,
sister, my
friend.
best
Were
friend.
you living with them still?
Yep.
And they flew out and you never knew?
Because she flew up first.
Yeah.
So like I think it was on a Sunday when we got engaged. So she was there the whole weekend.
Okay.
So like I'm sure we're just having a normal weekend. Family came in on Saturday. My aunt and uncle came up. Everybody was there just as a cookout on my side. But she didn't know that.
Her family was
I
there.
talked about her family coming up. They came up on that Saturday. So just in town walking around.
Yeah, they were just hanging out.
Yeah.
And so
That is dope.
Yeah, so we ended up, I think, getting engaged. And it was funny because I really had no idea that we were getting engaged. I was like talking through the proposal Because we were supposed to be going to a restaurant. And I was talking to his dad, and his dad was like, I just want to talk to you. You and Kevin have gotten back together. His dad's a pastor as well. So his dad is just like, I just want to make sure, y'all on the right track, blah, blah. So we're just kind of like walking while we're waiting to go to this restaurant. And his dad is like, okay, bye, and like walks off, and I'm like, well, what an abrupt way to end a conversation. And so Kevin comes over, and Kevin starts talking to me about other stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, I think everybody's getting in the car to go to the restaurant, so we should probably go. And he's like, yeah, but I just want to talk to you about this. And I'm like, Kevin, we can talk about this
Just
later.
trying to ruin the whole
These people
vibe.
are
I'm like,
waiting.
man,
Like, dude, you don't think we can talk about this later?
No,
and he was
actually, we
Brittany.
cannot.
Yeah, we can't.
Right, he was like,
this is the moment.
Right, he was like,
You've been waiting for this for a long time.
quiet.
And I was like, just hold up. 1 second, sit down. But we got to go. I'm like, just sit down. Just give me 30 seconds.
Because I'm over trying to be considerate.
It's moments for you. They here for you.
So
We are
You want to say
considering you.
submit?
Exactly. And I'm just talking. So he ends up proposing, and then when he gets off, they were behind us on like this little balcony thing. So when I stand up and I turn around, they're like right there.
And you lost it, huh?
Yeah,
You
they were
saw
like,
your
I was
father?
like so shocked because I'm super close to my family. So I was like so shocked. So then after that, we went to we had like an engagement lunch, I think. And then the next morning we had breakfast. I think somebody catered breakfast for us.
So let me ask you this. The next morning when you woke up
Yeah.
and now you see this ring on your finger,
Yeah.
how did you feel?
I was shocked. And then I was like, well, you did good.
Yeah.
Real good. So I was like, but I was shocked. Like, I wasn't expecting it. It was, Kevin has absolutely been the example of when God is like exceedingly abundantly. I got more than what I asked for in a ring and a husband and a life. Like, it was absolutely worth the wait. And we talk about this all the time, that if it had worked the first time around, it wouldn't have been like this. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have been as sweet. Like, and so I'm grateful. I didn't get a lot of stuff right the first time around, but I'm grateful that I was able to hear the Holy Spirit when he was like, you need to let him go. Cause it was that place of like, this was my Isaac. It was like, you need to give it back. Like, you got to surrender it and you got to trust me with it.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of men have, like, I always say, and I say this on the podcast a lot, with this red pill and manosphere is built for men who have been hurt by women a lot.
Sure.
And so my question to you, and before I even did this, while I was coming up here, one of my homeboys who dealt with a woman that was a little savage. He's been posting videos about it. Shout out to my boy Corey. But he's been posting videos detailing how he used to be the savage guy, and then he got done wrong by a woman. Sure. And the good thing about it, I told him, he called me, he said, I just did a Laterras in this video where he'd be transparent and vulnerable with his emotions. And what I loved about it, and I called him, I said, I love the fact that you were very vulnerable and transparent. And basically you took ownership of the decisions that you made in that process. But what happens is a lot of men deal with that, where at the beginning, at 26 years old, he was doing the best he could, loving you. And then you say, oh, we're going to work it out. Next day you wake up, God told me.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't have a strong relationship with God, that can be damaging.
God feels like the source of their pain.
It'd be like, see, God, I can't even trust. Like, you done told this woman to break up with me?
Yeah.
And this is a woman that I felt like checked off all the boxes as the woman that led from a spiritual standpoint. Because he said what attracted him to you, you to him, was the fact of how you were so spiritual. Your spirit attracted. So he's saying, this is the best I've gotten. And then she said, you, the one that told her to leave me.
Yeah.
Like, what is up with that?
Yeah.
And so my question to you is this, and I'm going to ask him the second question, but how did you reconcile in your mind that God told you to do that? And the time you did it, not hindsight being 2020, what made you say, God told me to do that? Why couldn't that just be you saying that this is not the season?
Because I didn't want to. I wouldn't have. And when I did it, I immediately regretted it, which is why I was like, just kidding. You know what I'm saying? Because I really did not want to. And if it had been up to me, I would have stayed. Because I really loved Kevin. You know, I just thought he was a wonderful person, despite his shortcomings.
Sure.
No, I'm joking. But yeah, I think I would have stayed. And it honestly is the hardest thing that I have ever done. But hard doesn't always mean wrong. It just means, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the things that God calls us to do in the spaces where he's asking us to be obedient don't feel good. But if you believe, I mean, not to be cliche, but if you believe that it's for your good, then you just have to trust that it's going to turn out. And I know that ultimately it felt hard, but I know that God was like saving me from myself because I didn't have the maturity to not run it into the ground. I mean, y'all know I'm direct. So I probably would have just been
Tone
like,
him down,
I probably would have just
broke him down to
been
be nothing.
incessant. And I'd have been like, you're not doing this right. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have the language to love people, then you have to leave them alone.
If you don't have the language to love people.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Well, I mean, you can take it literally and it's like there are 5 love languages, but if you can't speak whatever languages that people need, whatever, because I always say you loving me and me feeling loved by you are not the same thing.
That's good.
And so you have to have both. You know what I mean? And so it's like I didn't have the language to love him. I think that what he needed in that time was not that he did not need his priorities restructured, but he needed me to be patient because he can't be trying to figure it out in his career, trying to figure it out in his friendships, trying to figure it out at church, trying to figure it out spiritually, and then he has to work to figure it out with me. You know what I'm saying? There has to be grace somewhere.
What you said earlier, you said that we both had the dang, that sounds terrible. We ain't got no water. Everybody, I'm on a juice fast, and my body is malfunctioning.
We're on a juice fast.
We're on a juice fast. We're on a juice fast for 3 days. This is the last day, and my whole body is malfunctioning. I started getting cramps in my jaw last night. I got a cramp in my back. I was just like, "What is going on?"
Can they hear my stomach growling? I don't know. Okay.
And so you said that we both had to pretty much get to a place where we can have grace for each other. Unpack that, because what happened in the first season versus the second season where now you have the grace to cover each other that wasn't present in the past?
I think number one, I think you have to, when you really know that God has done something, I think that gives you a different kind of grace for it, right? Because it's like, if I'm doing something in my own strength, I have to sustain it. And I might need grace for it, but I don't naturally have grace. I need supernatural grace. So it's like if I'm gonna be with Kevin and this is the person that God has called me to be with, I am graced for him. It may take me a while to uncover that. It may need to be refined. It's probably still being refined. But you know what I'm saying? Yes. But I have to have grace for him. And I think it's the Holy Spirit that empowers me to have that. And I think the first time around, I think my Holy Spirit knew, like, you don't have it. And while it was a difficult season, I'm grateful for it because it was a little bit of encouragement. It was a little bit of God being like, I got you. I know what you want. I know the desires of your heart. I'm going to meet them, but like not now, not in this season. And so I think the second time around, like I said, I think we were both clear that God had called us to each other versus I think me knowing the first time and him not. Because if two people don't know, it's not. A marriage takes 2 people. Mm-hmm. Y'all have to be on the same page about God has called us to this and we're both going to do our part to see it through. Right. That doesn't mean we're always carrying equal percentages, but at the end of the day, we both going to be here.
Knowing.
Exactly, exactly. And so I think that the second time we had the knowing, I think we were more mature. I think we understood that we had messed it up the first time. And so there was a careful consideration there. And I think one of the things that I struggled with the first time as well was, like I said, I don't do good not being a priority, but I think he was much better at knowing Brittany needs to be reassured that I'm here, that I'm staying, that I'm not going anywhere. And so I feel like he made great effort to do that the second time around. And I feel like when you make a woman feel secure, everything else will flow from that. You know, now, obviously, are there crazy people? Sure. But, you know what I'm saying? But I think generally, like, and Kevin and I talk about this all the time. He'll say, I know that if I take care of you, I can do whatever I want to do. Kevin knows I am not going to bother him. Like, he going to play golf, whatever. I don't bother him. Do what you want to do. You know, but it's like I feel like he makes sure to, like, fill my cup. You know what I mean? And then I'm good. So then it's like, I can do the same for him. And I think he just kind of took the lead and it allowed me to follow.
Let me ask you that, Kevin. What about you? When she told you God said and answered the other question about the grace that you may felt like you had back then or didn't have and how it looks now. So answer that 2-part question.
Yeah. When she said God said, it was kind of like, okay, if that's where God is leading you, I trust your spirit. I don't like it, but that's where we need to be at. And it's probably better for both of us to be in that space. So I think even in relationships, even if I'm the leader of the relationship, I mean, you can't have a season where you are leading something. And so if your spirit is saying this is what we need to do, I have to trust that spirit. We're a partnership. She's a helpmate. And so at that point, God may have given you something that I don't get until later on. Just like he gave you, I'm your husband. Well, I didn't get it till 5 years later. So I still have to trust that in her. And I think to answer your question on the grace piece, for me, it was using the funnel of the Holy Spirit to get that. Because there have been several times, even in our marriage, even as we were going to get married, it was, Kevin, stop doing it on your own. I'm the source. I gave you this gift. I can show you how to love this gift. Stop trying to figure out how to love it by yourself. So even trying to fill her cup, I have to ask God, what does she need in this time? Does she need affirmation? Does she need a touch? Does she need a gift? Does she need service? Like, how do I help give her love the way that she should be loved? So I really can't do it on my own. So I think, and when I try to do my own, I always get out of line. And so it's really going back to the source and saying, I gave you that gift. So then ask me how to best use the gift and how to serve the gift.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good. So you mentioned that all of this happened in an 8-month period, but you decided to move to Atlanta, which is where she was. So how did you arrive at that decision? And how did you, because I know long distance dating is something that some people are apprehensive about.
Yep.
Sure. So how did this all come together and then, work the way that we're seeing it work today?
I think so. I understand why people are apprehensive about long distance dating. I definitely think that, but for having a recommendation from, like a mutual friend to introduce us, I think it would have been hard. Because people are crazy. You just need people to vet people these days and to vouch for you. So I think that definitely helped. And then I think you can speak to the move, how you ended up in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think my job afforded me that ability to be able, because the firm was in different places at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have to actually change my job situation. But I think it was, even through prayer, like what should be best. And I knew for me and my life where I was at, it was better to shift and reset my life, reset my community. I still have my friends back there, still family back there, but it just made sense for our relationship where she's at. My parents lived 2 hours north of where I was at. And
what city were you?
I was in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, Columbus,
my parents are living in Akron, Cleveland area. But I think ultimately I feel like I can make this move. I can make this adjustment. And I feel like it worked better for our marriage, for me to pursue her and go live there. Despite, I think, me wanting to set up everything for her in Ohio, God was like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
And I remember when he came back, and I was like, not giving him the time of day. I was like, well, I'm not moving to Ohio. And he was like, that's fine. I never asked you to move. And I was like, okay then. But I was just like trying.
Shut everything down.
I was not doing nothing.
Everything.
And so I was like, I don't know what you're going to do because I'm not moving up there. Because initially, the first time around, I had said I would move. But I was like, I'm not moving. And he was like, that's fine.
So you just trying to be stubborn on purpose?
I was just like, I'm not
see what I'm like, that's not going to work.
I was like,
Got that one.
I'm not gonna fool.
He like, I got a house. You live with your parents.
Right?
Wouldn't it make sense?
Well, and at the time that he came back, the second time I had a house.
Okay, so you got a house. So you was like,
the first time I was living with my parents. The second time I had a house.
And then so when you were saying you wasn't, you were just being difficult.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing that.
Just testing.
Because I was like, I'm not gonna. You did pass. I was like, but I'm not gonna play with him. And so no. And so when we were up there,
play with him.
When we were in Ohio, this was shortly after we had gotten engaged. I think he was like, I think I'm gonna sell my house, and I was like, you are? And he was like, yeah, I've been thinking about it. I'm traveling so much. I'm rarely ever here. I'm gonna just sell it. And he was just. Like
matter of fact.
Yeah, so matter of fact about it.
Yeah, but I think it's because I prepared for all of that. Like I spent the time thinking on how this is going to work.
You were thinking all different things about her.
Yeah, I'm a very analytical person, so internally I'll think through everything. So once she said 90 days was good, I set up for Memorial Day. I called my fam and my moving, talked to my boys. This was going on. Can we have the wedding at this time? All this is going through my mind.
Oh, you start planning the wedding too?
In my mind, not with her.
Dang. That's what I'm saying. So you start thinking about when y'all would get married.
Correct.
So you wasn't planning. You wasn't like, I'm going to give her a ring as, hey, this will hush up for a little bit, and then we're going to work on that.
It wasn't pushing on the road. It was like, we need to get this going at this point. Like, to me, because I felt like when I hear God speak to me, and he speaks to me that clearly, I can follow that. Like I had no concern. I mean, now I was very careful on who I told.
Yes,
Like,
which is
'cause
wisdom.
not everyone can handle that. And so I told 2 or 3 people at the beginning, and they all said, no problem, what you need? And I'm like, I appreciate that. It's like I got the confirmation from my circle, and so I was like, let's keep moving.
That's
so
good.
in my head, I'm preparing for all this stuff, thinking about how we need to make it work. And everything, nothing felt rushed. Nothing felt too much to me. She's like, what about this? I'm like, we're good. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Because I think I was prepared and I already knew what was going to happen. So she's like, what about this? About a dress? And it takes this long to do this. I'm like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So literally, we didn't start planning for the wedding until probably April. So we planned a wedding in probably 3 or 4 months.
Yep.
So that whole period was an 8-month time frame of us. The first time, season 1, struggling through it, and now it's like when it's on God's time,
Clear.
everything just went
That
through.
green light.
Yep,
Clear
and
light. Let's go.
there was favor with the ring and who we went to for that process. There was favor in how I sold my house at that time, but that was right after COVID. So
that's
that
back then.
The market
the
was
market was up
like-
that time,
yeah.
so it was perfect timing, and I'd have to go buy another house at the right time. So then it just all worked out for us in our favor. Things that happened with the wedding, the venue, it was all favor.
Yeah.
Dang, that's good.
Yeah.
Whew, Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
You got any questions? Because I'm about to ask another question. No. When you said, why didn't God's word sustain you enough? Meaning, at the very beginning, you said, God said that this is my husband, first date.
Yeah.
What made his word return to you void when it didn't work out in that season?
That's a good
That's a
question.
good
I
question.
know. Because I think you can have a word from God, but I think that you have to have the strength or the wisdom to know how to follow through. And I don't think that, I rarely actually think that God gives you a word where he gives you all of the details and you have a complete understanding and you're mature enough to follow it. I think you need to keep returning to him. You know, I really think it's that concept of like abiding, and it's like, okay, God, you gave me this word, but I'm not sure. So let me come back. You know what I'm saying? Or you told me to do this, but this feels hard. Is this right? Or how do you, if I believe that this is my husband, how do you want us to work through this situation where we're struggling? I did not have that maturity. And to be honest with you, I feel like a lot of us get married and don't have it, which is why it's like, okay, I believed you were my husband when we walked down the aisle, but now I want to get a divorce.
Yeah, 'cause I'm
because
tired.
And so it's like literally putting your money where your mouth is, having the words, and then saying, okay, if I believe, then my reflections will reflect what I believe. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not just lip service. And it did not reflect it. I had a thought, but I'm like, well, if he is not prioritizing me, then this can't be my husband because I'm not marrying nobody that don't prioritize me. You know, and that's my flesh getting in the way. And as my mentor says, you sow to the flesh, you're going to reap from the flesh.
Facts.
You know, so it's like, I needed to be spiritually minded, to be like, well, God, you saw this before the foundations of the earth. You ordained it. You aligned it. So how do you want me to move in it and make it well? Like now I'm mature enough to be like, this doesn't look how I think it should look. So give me guidance. And if it's not going to look that way, then just make it okay with me.
And the prophetic word that was spoken to you in the interim, when he came back around with those flowers, and well, I don't even say before the flowers, that phone call, your mind didn't go back and go, that's what the prophet said, or did it come way later?
I started to know when he came back that was God. I don't know if it went back like to the weight of the glory, but one thing I did know is that I knew that I had to be married. I have always known my entire life I have been an encourager of women in relationship. I'm that person like, girl, don't let him treat you like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's me. Kevin, no, I'll be on the phone and he'd be like, Brittany, who are you talking to? Like, and I'm like, that is me all day long. Like, I'm always encouraging women not to settle, always encouraging women to wait for God's best because I believe that it exists. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And so it's like, I knew that I was going to be in a space. Like I said, I had a little blog when we first met. I knew that that's what I was called to do. And so for me, I could not imagine being coupled with a person that it was going to shrink or limit my ability to walk in what I felt like God had called me to do. That was not going to work. And if those things were competing, then you can be my complement. And so I felt like I know. And why did I start saying that?
That's a great.
Was the guy that you dated was the guy before that?
Oh yes. So
Yeah,
if I was dating people,
yes, the other one.
yes.
He said that other dude.
Yeah.
And so I started to be clear on what it was I knew I was called to do. I started to look around to say, do these people complement that?
Facts.
Or is it going to be competing? And that was a sign to me as well. And so I knew that like if I can't operate in this space with you, this is not a good fit because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so for Kevin, and Kevin is a super private person. He really is. But he has every time and at every turn, if I have needed him to do something, he is like, I'm going to pray about it. And he always comes back with like, I'm never going to rob God of his glory. So if that means that I have to step outside of myself.
Is that the word you say? I'm never going to rob God from his glory?
And I've said it before, not every time.
No, I'm just talking about that statement. That's a beautiful statement.
Because I think, and I've dealt with this back and forth with my mentor. It's like, why am I trying to rob God of his glory just so that I can feel comfortable? Like that's all it is, me being in my comfort, saying I do not want to do a podcast. I do not want to be on social media. But our initial goal of our marriage was for our marriage to be a ministry.
Yeah.
And it can't be a ministry just in my house. It can't be between us and our family. So if I want that to actually happen, then I have to be willing to be out of my comfort zone, be willing to share my testimony because it's for his glory, not mine. So at the end of the day, God, whatever you want to do, I'm open. Now, it may take me a while to get there, but help my heart get there so that I can do it with the right motives, with a pure heart, and that I can give you glory for it, and it's not about me.
Oh, and that's what I was saying. So I feel like I knew when Kevin kind of, said that, that part came back to my mind about like, God is going to send you somebody that can handle the weight of your glory, that can handle the things that he has called me to carry. And he does that so beautifully. I mean, for all the things, for, not just like being on a podcast, like if there's been something that I've wanted to do, like speak or share or just anything, he's like, what do you need? He is very much that, like that anchor, those roots underground, like they don't exist to be seen. They just hold you steady. That is him. He is like Kevin will book a flight for me. He will book a hotel. He will do everything. He's like, okay, what do you need? Like,
would you do speaking engagements and stuff?
I would love to. Because I just love to encourage women. I've been doing it anyway. Like, I mean, just like one-on-one or just talk to my friends.
What do you think your calling is? Because I know you said you were doing this prior to marriage, encouraging women, and now you know that this marriage is a ministry. What do you think is the big picture?
I think the big picture is to help people see that God is not limited to statistics. God is not limited to time. God is not limited by our own like standards. I think that he literally can do exceedingly above and beyond all that we can ask or think. And that I think so many of us miss it because we don't have the maturity to act on what we say we believe. You know what I mean? And sure, I don't want to be ignorant of like certain factors, ratios and all that kind of stuff, but it's either going to be natural or supernatural, but it can't be both.
That's good.
So it's like, are you leaning into the supernatural? Because it's like, I can remember, I'm just a person, and I say this, I think having faith, you got to be a little delulu. I can remember talking to one of my friends, and she has a wonderful husband. This was like over a decade ago. And she was talking about him. I was not with Kevin at all. And she was like, yeah, my husband's so wonderful. She was like, he's a little bit of a unicorn. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, he ain't that much of a unicorn that I can't have a unicorn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, God don't love you no more than he loved me. So if he got a unicorn for you, he got a unicorn for me.
That's right.
And I just really believe that. Like, and that kept me from being like, no, this don't feel good. I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, my standards were so high that literally it's a conviction for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I told you, people DM me requesting that I have you. And this is Taj. Shout out to you, Taj.
Aww.
At 7:55 this morning, she DM'd me and said, hello, can y'all please, in all caps, check out Miss Brittany McIntyre here on IG and have her on the show for the girls who are really waiting on God and or got a word. Her story and what she's doing with her platform is so encouraging.
That's awesome.
I know.
And I was
That
like,
really warms my heart.
God, you had... And I sent right before we got finished, right before we got ready to record, I took a picture of you and your husband and sent it to her.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But if you are aligned with somebody or misaligned with somebody that don't let you shine, don't let you do that, then
it doesn't work.
It ain't gonna work.
It eclipses God, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like God wants to move how he wants to move in our lives so that other people get the benefit. Like how the people that were blessed by your story, you know what I mean? But it's like, just imagine if Ashley had been like, nah, you know, I'm good on that. Yeah, you go ahead and do it. You know, I mean, and she has brought like, you know, something that only she could have brought to this platform. And so I never want to do that. And God has been so good to us, you know, and to the point that it's like, I have always told God, I was like, if you give me anything good, you can trust me to share it. You can trust me to share. You ain't got to worry about it. In fact, just go ahead and test me. Send me something good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and I am going to share it because I just really believe that. I just really believe that is what he is looking for. And I am never so pressed to be married that I'm going to compromise that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Yeah. And I think the robbing God of his glory is so good right now for me, just because like Dear Future Wife, I could have been behind the scenes and I would have been like right here. Yeah. Like go babe, go babe, go. Yeah. But I just want to celebrate him because when you come into covenant with someone who sees your gifts, they will also help you. The Bible says your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men.
And I'm a great man.
And yes.
Speak that, brother. Speak that.
Amen. Amen. And then your covenant will bring you before other great men where you can have impact and be able to have impact in the kingdom for his glory. So it's a blessing to hear the testimony and to see other kingdom-minded couples who are using their gifts for God's glory.
Because like Kevin, Ashley, she has a social media, but she wasn't posting nothing. Yeah. She ain't gonna post nothing personal.
Ashley had more than 5 pictures on her bed.
She probably had about 12. Maybe
got
12.
Double digits.
Like I think I had my age. So I was like 37.
She had about
37 pictures.
Oh my God.
I used to have a thing
on her birthday.
Every year.
So she just wasn't into social media like that. And she's like you, very private, ain't about to be telling all her business on social media and all that. And so that's just what it was. But when I met her, I was like, and the first time I talked to her, I said, do you ever call in your life to preach? Like, what is this I see over you? And she was like, well, no, I don't, and she shied away from it. But all that told me was that I could discern what's inside of her. Yeah. It's like finding a beautiful diamond. A diamond, when you find it in the rough, does not look like a diamond. And so I said, I see this diamond in her. Let me just cultivate that. Yeah. Let me begin to polish it. Let me just begin to just nurture it. And so then when it comes on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, it's shining. And people have watched her. It's funny because people leave comments. I was reading some comments. Well, we were reading some comments yesterday, and they was like, I love how Ashley done came into her own now. She done came into her own now. You know what I'm saying? Because they're watching that. And that's what I was telling her. I said, listen, if you go look at my earlier episodes of Dear Future Wifey, it was just me by myself. I hated talking by myself. I was so nervous. I said, but I had the power of the edit. Yeah. I said, you don't know that episode when I'm talking, I talk for 30, 45 minutes and I edit it down to 12 minutes. Because I said, I'm just rambling. I ain't talking about nothing. I'm nervous. I can see it. My mouth get dry. Yeah. So I just edited it and I gave myself permission to grow in front of people. And that's what people respected. Yeah. That's what people loved. They was like, we love how you just show up authentic and transparent. And I said,
and look at what you've built.
Exactly. Yeah. So I said, Ashley, I'm giving you the same thing. You're not going to be perfect at the very beginning. Yeah. She has a bit of a perfectionist personality.
Perfectionist, you know.
I sure am. Yeah. Excellence is a habit.
Listen.
That's and fair. So I was like, no, give yourself grace to figure it out as you're figuring it out. And that's what it was. And now she's just shining and doing an amazing job. We're doing live stuff. First she didn't like doing all the live events. And I was like, Ashley, this is where we at. This is where we at. So this weekend, we're doing Nashville. We're doing Bishop Walker's church, doing a relationship. What are they doing? Relationship weekend. And so they'll be interviewing us. And then the next day, Shani and Pastor Keon, they'll be doing something there. And then on Saturday, we're doing the Known Conference. And so and that's in DC. And then next week we go do Detroit. So when this episode drops, Detroit will be coming up this Saturday. So make sure that you get your tickets right now. People in Detroit, people that's even driving distance away from Detroit, we want you to purchase the tickets. The link will be in the bio to get your tickets to pull up. And we got all kind of other events that I'm going to be letting y'all know about as they are coming forth. But I just want to tell you right now in front of the world that you're doing an amazing job. And God did his big one when he blessed me with you. You know, and it continues to be confirmed, reaffirmed by every day that I wake up with you. The willingness that you have to even sit in front of an audience as big as this and say, hey, I'll do it afraid. And Joyce Myers always said that. She said, just do it afraid. And I was glad that you were willing to just do it afraid. And I love you and I appreciate you.
That's a beautiful thing.
You're an amazing woman.
And I will say that because I'm a perfectionist, that's why like not having cards and just talking freely and then going to live events where people ask me questions, I'm like, oh my gosh, because I'm an overthinker. So then when you're a perfectionist, you're like, how did I say that? Did that sound okay? Did someone interpret that wrong? Did I stumble over a word? Did I have a real moment, like a real human moment, right? And so that's all like so outside of me. But I had started something called the Belief Gap to have conversations with people who I believe needed to close their belief gap to get whatever it was in life that they wanted to have.
When you were how old?
I was like my early 30s. And so I wanted to have conversations with people that either in business, in love, in whatever area of their life were like I felt not achieving what they wanted to achieve because I thought, you know, like you do have to work hard. 10% of it is the work, but you have to really viscerally believe, like you believed this was your wife. And guess what you got? Your wife. And granted, God confirmed it. But when you know that something, when you know what you know, like you're unstoppable. So I was like, oh, let's have these conversations. And then God sends me him and he's like, let's have these conversations. And I see in you how you were prepared to have these conversations, which is another confirmation that God sent him to me. So I know this is about you guys, but I just want to brag on my husband for seeing that thing in me and then saying like, we're going to do this because I already see what God put in you.
But it took him specifically to see it in you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. I think that's how I always know. That's confirmation of alignment. Because you might have been with somebody else and they might have thought you were wonderful, but him speaking to that specific thing.
And I asked her, I said, what is a dream that you had that you put on the shelf that can be taken off and dusted off? She said, well, I had this. And that's when she started talking about the belief gap. And I said, do you want to do it again? Well, I don't know. I said, no, you said you wanted to do this before. Now I have the platform that when God brings that around again, you can do it. And now you have access to hundreds of thousands of people. She's like, oh. I said, it's not time right now. But when it becomes time, it's going to be your time. And I said, just know that God gave you that seed back then for now. That's why I wanted to say when it happened, because that was probably 7 or 8 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And to know that happened back then, and then when people see it, it's not going to be like, she just popped out and now she started trying to do this or whatever. Like that thing started 8, 9 years ago. And God just began to mature that thing.
But even if it did pop out, which it didn't, because I think to the point that you're saying, and my mentor says as well, she says, God says, if you want to know what I use you for, look at what you're useful for. This is something she's been doing, right? But I think even in that, even if it did just pop out, it's your job, I think, as a spouse to cultivate that in her. And I feel like Kevin has done such a great job. It's like it was in me, but sometimes you just need the right people to bring it out, help shape it, to refine it, to encourage you in it, to grow you in it. So it's like, that's what you're doing. You're cultivating it in her.
And truth be told, God told me, he said, it's not the season for you to talk about how you closed your own belief gap because you're still doing that in career, in love. But when I'm ready, I will put you in the position to be able to have these conversations so that people look at you as a testimony to see, oh, wait, you had to believe for these things. And I was able to get you from where you were to where you wanted to be. So what you're spot on, sis.
I love it. Listen, we're at the part now where you grab that box. All right. So Kevin, grab that box. There's going to be 2 pieces of paper in there and a pen. Y'all use the box to write on, and I want y'all to write a key to love.
Yes.
Ooh, it can be a word, it can be a
Yes.
phrase, but what would you like to leave with the listeners and viewers of Dear Future Wifey podcast as a key to love?
I love your chain, babe.
Oh yeah. So I ain't gonna dang.
You got yours?
This necklace is you got one too. So this is the necklace. This necklace right here has the coordinates of where we got married at Cali Worship. And so these are the coordinates right here on these necklaces. And her necklace as well. And so
And then this
really
is
dope.
this my husband.
oh yeah, she had the pictures, all of our wedding pictures.
Y'all know my
on
husband.
her. Yeah. So what you think about this, Ashley? What do you think about this episode?
I thought this episode was great. I learned so much about them. And I love the redemption nature of the story and
Yeah.
just how God redeemed the time.
Redeem the time.
Yeah.
I love the fact that when he came back around with a high level of intentionality.
Yep.
We always say if a man wants to, he would.
Yep.
And that's what he did. And so he was just like, hey, listen, I already know what fell apart the first time.
Yeah.
And we don't hear enough about men submitting to wise counsel. Because a lot of times a lot of men feel like they're supposed to already know it. And sometimes women meet men and be like, well, you should already know this by now. It'd be like, well, dang, I ain't never did this before. Like, if I go on a job right now, they're going to put me with somebody else that I shadow throughout the day so I can learn the job, learn what they're doing or whatnot. But we don't think that that's necessary for a preparation for marriage. And so I was glad that he said, I got with a mentor and said, prepare me.
Yeah.
You know, let me shadow you, teach me what I don't know. And that's wisdom. So a man cannot lead if he's not willing to follow. And so that's so powerful that he was willing to say, just teach me. And when he showed up, he was not intimidated by her current circumstance. He was like, all right, that's cool. Anyway, I'm gonna be married to you, so just know what it is. And it's funny when you look at the comedy of God, because he was the last time they met each other, went on a date, he said, "Don't even mention marriage." And then and then he come back around. He come back around talking about, you know, you my wife, right?
And leave with it.
I don't know if you understand, but God told me. Yeah.
Either receive it.
Yeah.
Here, pull the microphone close back to you. And then Kevin, start off. Tell us what the key of love.
For me, the key is to use God as the source and to be intentional. For me, the only reason why this works is because God is the filter of our relationship. So however, we don't do it perfectly, but we try to remain that way in our marriage, trying to keep God first. How we respond to each other is trying to be godly. And that's what we try to share with our friends and our family. Like, always make sure that if God is the gift that was given, or he's the gift giver, and that's the gift that I got, always go back to the source of that gift and be intentional.
Amen.
That's good.
Yeah.
What would you say, Brittany?
I said, ask God to help you hear what your spouse doesn't say. I think men are generally not talkers, but I know my husband, as I've stated, is super private. You know, he's reserved and he does talk to me, but I think in some spaces where he wants to protect me, he may not always share, you know, his heart. And I always want our marriage to be a safe space for him to bring things to. So, and in the spaces where he doesn't mention it, it's still, I want to know, you know, so that I can either pray about that or help him carry that or help him navigate it. So for me, it's just like always wanting to ask God to help me hear what they're not saying. What's really happening here? Where is their heart?
It's a lot of women, over 86%. It's 86% of women that watch the Dear Future Wifey podcast.
Yeah.
My question to you, so that women can understand what she's speaking about from a man's perspective, answer that. What does she mean by that?
Her response?
Yeah, where you say that she feels like you kind of carry a lot of stuff and don't communicate the stuff that you're carrying.
Yeah, I think it's natural as a man to feel like they're carrying a lot and don't want to be vulnerable in front of their woman, to feel like they can't handle it. And it may seem like a sign of weakness, but it's not. It's the exact opposite.
Yep.
When you've got that helpmate and God's given them to you, that is your helpmate. That is your sounding board. They're supposed to be building you up. And I can't be my best without her. And she doesn't know how to pray for me if I don't tell her what's going on. So then truly there could be things that she's dealing with, that I'm dealing with. In her spirit, she may know it. I've never said it. But if I communicate better, like, hey, babe, this is what's going on with me, vulnerable before her, it draws us closer. And for her, she's a words of affirmation person. And so that's how we gain intimacy, by talking. Yeah. And I'm not that person. So really, in order for me to be my best husband, I got to become more holy. Because I have to use God to say, okay, God, this is not what you do. When I come home, I want to sit there and not say nothing. But I'm like, you know what? My wife, I haven't seen her all day. She wants to connect. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. How was your day? I'll be like, it's good. but she needs more than that. She'll be like, babe, guess what happened? Tell me the whole story, every detail. I'm like, hey, something happened to my mom. It was crazy. That's all I got. It was crazy. That's it. But that's how we connect. But I'm saying for her, she knows that if I don't say it, she doesn't know how to pray for me. If I don't say it, she doesn't know. We don't grow closer in our process.
And I think growing as a wife is saying, look, God, I'm for whatever he's not shared. Yeah. Like, I'm bringing it to you.
Listen, man, this was so amazing. How can we support you? What are your social media handles? We know you ain't got one. So
let's get that.
Let's get that out of the way.
So my social media handle is my name, Mrs. Brittany McIntyre. Brittany is Brittany. McIntyre is spelled McIntyre.
And how can we support you?
I don't know. I love to hear from like the women. I am very much a girl's girl, so I would love to connect with you all on socials. I don't know. Invite me somewhere, I'll be there.
Yeah, that's it. So DM her, let her know, connect with her. And Kevin still don't have a social media page. And you'll be seeing glimpses of him, I guess, as she posts.
You'll see me out there. You'll see me out there.
You'll see him out in the wild.
I love it. Let me tell y'all, thank y'all so much for showing up transparent and vulnerable. Thank y'all for talking about the messy part in the relationship and how God took your mess and created this powerful message. And so y'all are the epitome of what it looks like to be totally surrendered to God. And so, and I love the language in which y'all speak about just, I had to talk to God. I had to talk to God. I talked to my mom. I talked to my daddy. It's like when I'm hearing y'all speak, it's all about y'all's family and talking and getting wise counsel from here and there. And that's what the whole foundation. And so, that's beautiful. I recommend that people don't be a lone ranger in this thing called love. Find people and find wisdom. Kevin says something so powerful. He said, I had to use wisdom in who I told. Yes. Because you can tell the wrong people and they can advise you incorrectly. Yes. Be like, leave her alone. She don't need to be there. Forget her. And then you like, but thank God told me that. I've kind of felt like, but dang, did God say this? Yeah. Did God say that? Yeah. And then now you done watched her go get married to somebody else. And then one day and then she comes do Dear Future Wifey, and then with her other husband.
That could have been me.
Yeah. And then she says, it was this guy. If he just had called me and told me this, I felt like he was the one, but I guess God did. He was like, I knew I was supposed to call her. Now he's living in regret. Doesn't make sense. So I love that y'all were totally surrendered to God. May the love you share today outlive the season you're in.
May it carry you through the days when words are few and faith has to do the talking.
Y'all give it up for the McIntyres, y'all.
Thank y'all so
Thank
much.
y'all so much for having us.
Thank you. Ladarian, thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, Black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, Black, a boy, with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our Black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young Black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. None of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical context, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless Black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Laterras R. Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving.
Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.